Hey guys, the WalterFootball.com After Dark Show for June 8th, 2025. We're going to be discussing some NFL betting things and some other stuff as we usually do on Saturday nights. Before we get into the intros and everything else, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. As always, I'm wearing something for the merch store. It is the hashtag Ken Griffin Live shirt, which I can't get sued for because there are like a million Ken Griffins out there, and I'm sure one has lied about something. So that's all I'd have to prove if the real Ken Griffin decided to sue me. But you can get that as well as any other shirt here. The merch store, 15% off right now. There will be new gear at the merch store. I worked on a couple of things today. I think you guys will really like one of them, or maybe two. I put up two new shirts. They're not listed yet, but they'll probably be listed by like Tuesday or Wednesday, hopefully. And I think they're going to be pretty good. So we can take a look at that next week. Also, you can go to Amazon, buy my books. The most recent one is Jerks of the College Years, where I made fun of people I saw at Penn State for 6 years. I had a lot of writing material, and I had a lot of fun writing it. And by the way, 5 out of 5 star rating. Like, can't get better than that. Also, please consider super chats, super stickers. It's the best way to support the show. John Sanders and Slew have been the best at supporting us. Just really appreciate you guys. Also, in the past, K McNeagle, Degeneron, RMac, K-Mac, the boss, Evan Daniel. You guys have been so great. Thank you so much because you really help support the show. We are joined today by Quacky T, Tom, who's back from his hiatus. He was off last week, but he is back with a vengeance. Tom, how's it going? How's your week off?
Oh, geez, I'll tell you what a week I'm having, Walt. Hello to you and hello to everyone out there in the Walter football family. Hey, first things first, man. How about the baseball picks these last 2 weeks? Not only, I hope you guys have been following. I started tweeting out some plays. I'm 2-0, and both of them were underdogs. All my hockey and baseball plays are always underdog plays. But better yet, the two wins that I had this past week, both of them were shutouts for our side. So
very nice.
Yeah, hopefully we can keep it going. And congrats to anyone who tailed. I used to, for those who don't know, I used to do a pick every day. That's how I got onto the Walter show in the first place. I mean, I've known Walt for over 20 years, but I mean, finally I had like a reason to be on the show, I guess you would say, because I did some sports content. And but I used to do a pick every single day. And I think over like the course of like a year, we were up like 44 units. So I'll still tweet them out every now and then, but I'll keep tweeting out the baseball plays when I get them. So,
what was your longest streak? You had like 18 in a row or something, right? Like what was it? Or is it
no, I won 9 days in a row. I started out 21-5.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
something. Yeah, it was something absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, it's not like you were taking like minus 250 favorites or something. Like you were taking like minus 120 at most, right? Like most of them.
Yeah, they're almost all underdogs. I didn't even really keep track of like the first like several months. Like I didn't assign units. So when I tallied up the units total, I just counted them all at one unit to be fair. But like there's some that I definitely would have put more. So it would have been more than 40 some units. But that was fun for a while, and I know I always appreciated the support you gave me, and I mean most of the picks were good too.
Yeah.
So,
well, I have to ask you why did you stop? I mean, I'm sure people are wondering. So like why not keep it going? Like why not? I mean, you're 2-0. Why not start it up again?
I don't know. It's just a lot of like I don't know how you. I guess because like maybe it's not easier, but more manageable since your full-time job is at your laptop and you're able to answer things, you know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe more readily than someone like me who has like a 9 to 5. So because that used to get, and maybe part of it was I didn't set myself up in such a way that I could avoid that perhaps, but it's like all day, like I'm at work and people were like quacky, like what's the pick today? What's the pick today? What's the pick today? It's like,
yeah, that'd be annoying.
It's like, okay, like I'm going to post it,
Yeah, but I can see that being a little distracting. You trying to get your job done. You have like so many people in your DMs. They're like, "Wait, Quacky, what do you think?" Or like, my favorite is like when you post a pic and they're like, "Are you sure you like the side?" It's like, "Oh wait, no, I was sure, but now that you messaged me, now I'm not totally sure." That is always my favorite.
Yeah, exactly. It's also like, yeah, are you sure? Actually, now that you say that, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But like. I remember I had one guy because I gained like half my followers from those videos. But the other thing that would kind of get annoying is that people would DM me and be like, "What do you think of this game? This game? This game? This game? This game?" And it's like sometimes, and as you know, like baseball, like I don't really do it hardly at all. Like maybe one pick a week.
Yeah.
Do I like throw over to you because I got to find the right spot. So sometimes it was hard for me to like actually find something I liked, and it's like sometimes I made videos with picks that I didn't really like that much, but it's like I got to do something. I wouldn't take anything, but the expectation, so like people were like, "What do you think of all these games?" It's like I don't have like any interest in any of these, So I don't know. Like I just don't think I just couldn't devote enough time to doing that. And then like people were funny. I'll never forget. Of course, and we've talked about this before too, Walt. In fact, you really helped me out a lot when I first got my kind of had my online presence with that, because of like managing like reacting to people troll. I really love to get trolled, actually, and it didn't really happen that much, but you really, in all sincerity, like you really helped me kind of navigate that. It was an easy navigation, largely in part to like you kind of just like you gave me like a little like rundown like of your experience. I was very grateful for that.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
like,
I think what I probably told you, or the piece of what I told you, was that when I first started writing for a broader audience, I had the site back in '99, and like back then it was like 20 people would come per week or something, and like half of those would be me, just refreshing the pages, seeing like if everything worked. But like the first like bigger audience I ever had was when I worked for the Center Daily Times, which is the newspaper out near Penn State. And I had my own article, my column. It's called Walt's Wild World of Sports. And they basically said you can write about anything. I'm like, okay, this is cool. So it was like a weekly column that was released every Wednesday. And the one that got the most traction, unfortunately, was during the 2005 NFL playoffs, where the Steelers had just beaten the Bengals because they knocked out the starting quarterback, Carson Palmer, for the game. And then they went to the divisional round to play the Colts. And I wrote my article. I was like, there is 0% chance the Steelers would beat the Colts. And of course, the Steelers upset the Colts.
I'll never forget that game.
I got so much hate mail from people, from like Steeler fans, obviously. It was like every 20 minutes, a new email will come in. They'd be like, "You suck at this. Get a new job. Quit writing. You're horrible." And like I was back then, I was 22 or so. And back then, I was like still a kid compared to what I am now. It's like I'm my age now almost. And so that was so crushing to me. And I was like that whole day, I was just so depressed about it. But I learned that after that ordeal happened, I'm like, well, you know what? I get a lot right too. And when I do get something right, no one ever says that. Like once in a while, people like, "Hey, good call." Like no one will ever say like if the Colts beat the Steelers, I would have gotten a single email from anyone, So it's like, I was like, and like I'm like, who really cares? Like these regular people just emailing me. Like there's some people I walk by on the street, like who are they to say anything? So just like once I got older and stuff, I just stopped caring what people think. Now, obviously, if it's like a devoted reader and they're like, "Hey, you made a mistake," like obviously, that like factual stuff you should get right. But like, the opinion stuff, everyone has an opinion. You're going to be wrong sometimes. Like I made my bad calls. I've made good calls too. Like, there's some give and take. So I stopped caring what people think. And now I'm like, I love trolling people on Twitter myself. Like I love getting under people's skin. Like Mike Florio, I don't know if you saw it yesterday. He responded to something I wrote because I quote tweeted something from Awful Announcing, and they said something about Florio, and I said, yeah, we've known Mike Florio's had brain damage for years, and he responded to, well, first of all, he blocked me. This is a long time ago. He blocked me a long time ago. I think it was probably like a year or two ago. So he unblocked me to respond to me, and then he blocked me again.
Nice.
He said, quote, he's like, "Hey, link to us, link to me," like quote, as if like I said that to him. If what really happened was, this is a long time ago. This is like 2011, 2012. Charlie Campbell broke a news story of some sort. I think it was about John Gruden, when John Gruden first planned to come back to the NFL. So we broke that story. Charlie broke that story on the site. And then like 2 hours later, Pro Football Talk Mike Florio's site, they published the same story without citing us, and I'm like, Charlie worked hard on the story, like, and you're just gonna write the same story. You're not even gonna like attribute this story to us, like.
Wow.
I emailed him. I'm like, can you at least like give us a link, like, because we wrote this story, and like that's what he's referring to. He's like, leak to us, like you stole our news scoop, like you're just a thief basically. So yeah, so I had a lot of fun with that. That tweet of mine got like 35,000 views on Twitter. The highest one I got 1.3 million views on when I said Mina Kimes ruined Around the Horn, because she quoted me about like the thing I said about the election, which like people still don't understand what I said, like, was weirdly. So she quoted me about that, and I had a lot of her like beta male simps like messaging me too about that, and I thought like the whole time I'm just like laughing at these idiots just to comment to me. So like 22 years ago, I would have been probably like crushed by this. I would have gotten out of bed as a kid, but like now I just I just don't give a damn. Like I don't know. I forget who I was telling this to. I think it was my son, and oh no, it was not my son. It might have been one of my nieces, but like they said something about being embarrassed. They're like girls and whatnot. Like they're more likely to be embarrassed at this point by stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, when you become an adult, you realize that you just don't care what other people think of you, and it's like that's when you stop being embarrassed. So I said that. So yeah, I love back then I used to hate it, and this is what I told you before. Just like don't listen to the trolls. In fact, like become one, because it's a lot more fun on the other side.
Yeah, and I was, and it's funny because I actually was was kind of upset that like I really didn't get trolled that much, and in fact, every single person that ever trolled me ended up following me, nice. And like some of them became like loyal followers too. That's awesome. It was kind of interesting. It was kind of interesting.
Well, with your record, I would hope so.
Well, in video games too, when I used to stream video games, I got trolled a little bit, and they ended up following me as well. But and sports, and when I did the sports picks, I'll never forget. There was this one guy. I'm almost convinced like he was. I know he's not, or I mean, I don't think he is, but it was almost like he was a bot, because every day he would message me. He's like what's the play?
Mm-hmm.
And then I would like, at first he was like one of my first followers. So, I was still feeling it out and like kind of messaging with him a little more than I typically would, once I gained a bigger following. Cause I didn't, I was learning how to approach all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And, this guy, like every time, like if a play lost, he would just message me and be like, what happened to the Padres? Or like whatever, or like what happened to the Flyers? It's like, what do you mean? Like, what happened? Like, I'm not on the fucking team, Sorry for.
Well, that's. Oh man, we just got monetized. We got demonetized. That 50 cents that we would have made otherwise is gone.
But here, but here's the thing. So that same guy, I'll never forget. This was 2022, summer 2022, and I remember. I think it was the Cardinals and the Blue Jays, and I think it was under 9.5. That was my pick. And the score was like 7-2 in the fourth inning. I think someone on the Cardinals hit like a 3-run homer. Now all of a sudden it's 7-2. I took under 9.5. So it's like this. I mean, you're telling me both teams aren't going to score, for the rest of the game. I'm right at the cusp there with 9.5. And that same guy, he messaged me. He's like, "Why would you take the under?" He's like, like the Blue Jays always score a lot of runs or whatever. And I didn't say anything. I was like, man, this guy. And guess what? They didn't. Neither team scored the rest of the game.
That's sick.
And the pick hit. But do you think this guy, like, if I were that guy and wrote that to me, I would have written back, be like, "Oh my god, like I can't believe that happened. Like that was awesome. Like what a pick." Because like obviously, like he wouldn't be writing me unless he took it too. So wouldn't you be like, "Oh man, like I spoke too soon. Like that was incredible" or something? No, what what the next thing? The very next day, sends me a message. What's the pick? It's like, dude, how are you not even gonna acknowledge like that interact? But I was like, part of me wanted to be like, bro, you're not even gonna say anything about like what transpired yesterday. But I was like, you know what? I don't have to say nothing. The pick won.
I love that. I get that sometimes too. And sometimes the team doesn't come back, but sometimes they do. And you're right. Like I've had the same experience. Like people have done that to me. They usually don't respond. Sometimes they do, but usually they don't. I just find that funny. What I've started saying is like, when I get a game wrong, people are like, oh, what happened to this team? Like you just said. I'm like, well, I wish I would have threw the ball better. I just had an off day. I'm sorry. I'll try better next time. Just like try to pretend I'm like on the team or something. Because it's like you're betting on other people to do things. It's not like you yourself are performing.
Right.
If like you were the quarterback of the team or whatever on the team, and like they could actually ask you like, hey, what happened? Like, and you could. That's a legit question. Like it's what sports reporters do. It's like, hey, you lost. Like what happened? Like how can you play better? What went wrong? Like those are natural questions. But like if you're not on the team and just betting on people to do things, it's like out of your control. Like you can only handicap what you know, and there could be like a million factors that you just don't know. Like what if the starting quarterback like is having trouble at home with his wife and just like or girlfriend and just has an off day because of that. Like that's stuff you don't know. The stuff that like most people don't know. So. You can only do what you can and do enough research. And if you do enough research and you're a good feel for it, then you're going to win more than you're going to lose. That's all you can hope for. But
yeah. Well, I don't know if you've been following the Stanley Cup Final at all, but that series is tied up at a game apiece.
A game apiece. That's maybe a unique way of saying it.
Yeah, and what if maybe the NBA Finals might be tied at a game apiece after tomorrow night.
Yes, I would think so because the Thunder, I believe, are favored by 11. I actually thought the game would be tonight because I thought they would alternate, but
no,
apparently not.
I thought it would be. I thought it would have been too. I was surprised at that as well. But hey, did I not come on this show like a month ago and say the Pacers 24-1?
You did, and I did you bet it?
No.
Okay.
I'm just here to give out the advice, You
gotta bet your picks. I laughed at the pick. I scoffed at it and I said it had no chance. But the last time you were on 2 weeks ago, I said that the Pacers, if they made the finals, would be the worst NBA Finals teams that I'd ever seen. Look, that's debatable. Like there have been some mediocre teams that made the finals, but I think if they actually win, I think they'll be the worst NBA champion of all time. I just don't really see it with this team.
I just don't see why you feel that way, though. I think they have a pretty balanced attack. They've got they've got Siakam. I think Nembhard's good. Obviously, Halliburton's good. I like Miles Turner. Like, what don't you like about him?
Well, I mean, Halliburton's. I like Halliburton a lot. He's great, yeah. But I feel like that's like Siakam is not like a 2. He's a 3, and it feels like everyone is playing up a tier rather than what they should be. They've like an okay bench. I don't think they're that good. What really bothers me is like they're awful at rebounding. Like it's just like a really horrible rebounding team. Just this team seems like a 4 seed or 5 seed that's should be going in the second round. I don't know, man. I don't think they're that good. Defensively, they're mediocre. It's not like they're like a shutdown defensive team, like this mediocre team, and they're horrible at rebounding. So it's like, what do they do well? It feels like they luck into wins the best. That's the best attribute. It was like round 1, they go against the Bucks with Lillard out, which is okay. And then round 2, the Cavs were down their top 3 players. Like in the first 2 games, they had no Mobley, they had no Garland. And then game 3, the Cavs obliterated in game 3. Game 4, Donovan Mitchell got hurt in the first quarter and had to leave the game for the rest of the game, and that was a blowout. And then game 5, Mitchell came back, but it was clear that he wasn't 100%. So except for that, there's one game that they played against the Cavs where the Cavs are healthy and the Cavs destroyed them. And so then they go to play the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals, who, by the way, also benefited from injury luck with Jason Tatum going down in the second round. And the Knicks were just so poorly coached. Like Thibodeau got fired justly. That was awful. It's just like horrible coaching. Like he brought Jalen Brunson in on with 2 minutes left. He kept him out the whole fourth quarter. He brought him in with 2 minutes left. He benched Karl Anthony Towns in the in game 2. He benched Josh Hart unnecessarily. He had what's his face, Landry Shamet on the court like nonstop, and like Shamet was just taking all the shots. Like Thibodeau just like had no feel for that game, for any game in that series except for game 5 was fine, but I feel like that was just a down spot for the Pacers. Like we didn't bet game 1, and I got game 2 wrong because Thibodeau's like idiocy. But like after that, we nailed every single pick on the site, like games 3 through 6.
Yeah.
It was just so easy handicap because Thibodeau would always screw up, and then like the Pacers would have like a predictable like down game, and then the next game when it meant something, Thibodeau would screw up again, and then it's kind of like rinse repeat. It was just excruciating to watch as like someone who bet the Knicks in game 2. But yeah, so the Pacers they've gotten so lucky in this playoff run. Like I okay, ignore the worst team of all time. They have to be the luckiest team of all time.
Wow. Okay. Well, with that said, what team do you think in our lifetime, who was the weakest NBA champion? If you had to pick one, I'm kind of scrolling through the years of my mind. This is a tough pick, but I actually think I know who I'd pick.
I'd have to look at it. I just don't have that on top of my head, at the top of my head. But all right, so
I'd say,
let me pull it up.
I'd say the worst team to make it would be the the 02-03 New Jersey Nets. I think they maybe won 50 games. They weren't.
All right.
I'm interested to see here.
Let's go since 2000. So we've had to win the championship. You mean?
Yeah, the weakest team. Well, they're certainly not. The weakest team is certainly not in the 90s. Let's be real.
But yeah, you have Bulls and Rockets.
Yeah. So we can rule that out. I think that's a fair place to start. Is what I'm saying here in 2000.
All right. Well, the Spurs in '99 they had Duncan Robinson, so I'd say no. The Lakers 3 times.
None of them.
Definitely not. Spurs, Duncan Robinson, no. Detroit, Detroit's like a better version of this team. But Detroit, like their defense was suffocating. Their rebound was great. Like their offense wasn't so hot, but they did stuff extremely well, which is like the Pacers don't do that. They're like the Pacers don't do anything like extremely well. They're just like above average and like everything except for rebounding. The rebounding's awful. We have Spurs again. We have Heat, and Spurs again, and then Celtics. Definitely not those teams. The Lakers, and then that Dallas team with Dirk that upset the Heat, and then LeBron's Heat won twice. The Spurs won again. The Spurs teams all blend to me. Like I don't know how to differentiate them together. I mean, obviously they had Tim Duncan, but and like Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. But I kind of like forget the role players they had. Obviously they had Ori, but anyway, so we have Warriors, Cavs, Warriors. This Toronto team, like it wasn't great, but they had Kawhi Leonard. So I think they were better than the Pacers. Lakers.
That year doesn't count that much.
Yeah. I was about to say that team was pretty weak, but that was the bubble. It was a strange season.
Yeah.
And then the Giannis team, and then
Warriors. None of these. Definitely
Warriors
none of these.
Again, Nuggets with Jokic, no. Celtics, no. So if the Pacers win, I think you have to keep going back to like the 80s, and like this is when I was a kid, so I can't speak to these teams. I don't know. I mean, like I think they're easily the worst team in our lifetime if they win the championship.
I mean, do you think? I mean, look, and obviously, like we're not saying any of these teams are bad. We're just ranking the NBA champions. Obviously they're all great. I'm gonna make an argument, and this is probably not going to be a popular opinion, that the 14-15 Warriors, the first Golden State championship, they had a great team, but they could have. Man, if the Cavs were healthy, I think they would have won. Come on. All they had was LeBron. They had like Della, and no disrespect, but like Della Vedova and Timothy Mozgov were like starting for the Cavs. They remember because Kyrie Irving got hurt and Kevin Love got hurt in the first round, and it still took them 6 games. And Curry did not have to my recollection, didn't have that great of a finals. Remember, that's when Iguodala got the Finals MVP. That was cool. I was glad he got that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe you could make that argument, but still, I mean,
Yeah.
Curry, Thompson, Green.
Yeah,
It's,
look, they didn't play that, they didn't play up their A game, that's for sure. But it's
yeah,
still good enough to win. I mean,
yeah,
that game that they brought, I don't think would have beaten a healthy Cavs team. But then obviously,
yeah. That's fair. I still would rate this team over the Pacers. Just because just on the back of Curry and Thompson, like that duo is better when
yeah.
the Pacers have.
I'm
Uh,
I'm gonna I'm gonna make I'm gonna make another argument here. You might, it's gonna probably be another unpopular one. Uh I hate to say this as a Magic fan, but I'm gonna maybe throw out the 08-09 Lakers there. Obviously, Kobe Bryant was a legend, but
mhm.
they weren't very deep. I mean, they did have Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol was a really good player. They had Derek Fisher and like Lamar Odom, but other than that, that team was not deep, to my recollection. And the Magic could have easily won that series. That Courtney Lee layup in Game 2 and one Dwight Howard free throw in Game 4, and all of a sudden they're up 3-1. Ugh.
Yeah,
Still breaks my heart. That Game 4, that hurt so bad. The Magic were up by 3, and Dwight Howard was on the foul line. It's like, Dwight, I know you're not a good free throw shooter, but just make one, dude, and it's going to be over. Oh, he missed them both. Derek Fisher hit a 3 to tie it. Oh, and then even I remember they had Petrus. Remember Mikel Petrus?
yeah, yeah.
I love Petrus on the Magic. He had a chance, like he missed at the buzzer overtime. Once it went to overtime, I knew we had no chance. We lost.
Yeah, if only
That
Dwight
one
Howard
hurt.
had the free throw shooting prowess of a Dare champion, two-time Dare champion. Uh,
I know, man. Can you imagine that? They could have put me out there, and the Magic would have been world champions if I was
yeah,
out there. That's
just
the
like
only difference.
summon.
That's so stupid. I definitely would have made one. I definitely would
Yeah,
have made one. I
I
know I
think
would have.
I think it would have made both. But no,
What?
Kobe Bryant, like I think he would just elevate his team. But Pau
Yeah.
Gasol was, good too. Like
Oh, they did have
they had
Bynum. They did have Bynum, I guess.
Bynum and they had good role players. But I mean, this team outside of Kobe doesn't look that great. But still, I mean,
Yeah.
like Kobe, one of the best players of all time. Like
Yeah.
I
Trevor Ariza was decent.
yeah, yeah.
I,
No, they're
I'll
good,
tell you
good
what. I
role
feel like
players.
Trevor Ariza always killed the Magic.
Yeah.
I feel like every time I turned around, he was hitting threes against the Magic. I don't know.
Yeah, there's always that one player for a team. Like when the Sixers were initially making their run with Allen Iverson, they lost to the Pacers twice in the playoffs before beating them the third time on en route to the finals.
Mhm.
But it was always like that Pacers team had like like Rick Smits, and like he for some reason he like gave the Sixers like such issues. They just couldn't stop Rick Smits.
Dude, the Duncan Dutchman. You can't
Yeah,
stop Rick Smits. That guy's a freaking runaway train, man. I love
right.
Rick Smits.
Yeah, and of course they had Reggie Miller and stuff, but like Rick Smith
Yeah.
is like the one who killed them like every
Man,
time. So
how those Pacers teams never won. Well, I was gonna say how
you
they
wouldn't
never
know.
won one. I'll never know. Well, I do know the Bulls,
Right,
but like
right.
it's just like they had Reggie Miller, Rick Smits, Antonio Davis, Dale Davis, Mark
Hmm.
Jackson. They had then that 98 team. They had Chris Mullin and Jalen Rose. They had a really good team, and I mean they still could have won. I mean they had a lead late in that game 7. Remember
Yeah,
against the Bulls, but
they did. They did.
I can't believe
Yeah,
that team never got one.
Mark Jackson was another guy who killed the Sixers too. Chris Mullen is funny. I was at a friend's party, and this is a long time ago. This is probably '06 or '07, like close to 20 years ago. And I was still in college mode. I was like smashed and stuff. And I was talking to my friend Brian, who he's a huge basketball fan. We were talking about the Dream Team, and for some like I was so drunk that like I couldn't like grasp Chris Mullen's name. Like it was just like eluding me, and I was like, is his name Christian Mullets? And I kept saying this, and I wrote about this in Jerks of the Week. I wrote like Christian Mullet, and a guy named Christian Mullet actually emailed me and was like, hey, I'm a reader of your site. And I saw your Jerks of the Week entry, and I saw my name, and I thought it was funny because my name is Christian Mullet.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Wow, that's yeah, that team was really, I mean, there was a lot of teams back then that could, I mean, remember the Supersonics? I miss the Supersonics.
yeah,
You remember? Yeah, they had. I remember their starting five: Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, Sam Perkins, Detlef Schrempf,
Mm.
and Hersey Hawkins.
Yeah, Hawkins used to be on the Sixers.
Yeah, Hersey Hawkins, he could hit a three. That was a great starting five, but they weren't that. I mean, I can't even think of who came off their bench other than Frank Brakowski.
The Brick, he was good. That was his nickname, the Brick. Yeah, no. When I started watching the Sixers, their backcourt was Hawkins and Dawkins, Johnny Dawkins and Hersey Hawkins. I always got a kick out of that.
That's
Hawkins and
awesome.
Dawkins.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then
I forgot. Yeah,
Charles Barkley was the best player on that team, and then they traded him. So that's actually how I started watching sports, because my dad used to. This is before the internet. He used to keep track of all the player points scored, and then like I would always come downstairs as a kid, and I always see the notepad on the coffee table, and like one day I'm asking him like Dad, why is broccoli always have the most points? And he's like, no, that's Barkley, not broccoli. And so and then I eventually started keeping score for him, and that was like my first foray into sports writing.
That's so cool.
Writing,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a good time back then, even though the Sixers were terrible. So once they traded Barkley, they couldn't win at all until they got Iverson. That was 4 or 5 dark years. And I remember sleeping over at my friend's house when I was like 10. And I told my friends when I woke up, I'm like, hey guys, I dreamt that the Sixers made the playoffs as the 8th seed and they upset the Bulls in the first round. And they're like, that's stupid. That's never going to happen. And actually did happen in 2012.
12-12, yeah, I remember that.
Derrick Rose got hurt.
And they took the Celtics to Game 7, didn't they, the next round? Yeah, I remember I thought they were going to win.
Yeah, I watched Game 7 at a bar with friends. It was a letdown that they lost, but yeah, that was a good run for them. That was a cool team.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember because LeBron was on the Heat. Yeah, because that was the Heat's. No, that was their second. That was the second time they were going to win, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I remember my uncle was just getting excited. He's like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "What if the Sixers have something to do with like not the Heat, like not getting the title? Like, what if they beat them in the conference finals?"
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh, dude, that'd be so cool."
That would have been awesome. Yeah, that was like the best year of my life. There were like so many things happened that year in 2012.
Yeah.
It was awesome, but it's hard to believe that's 13 years ago.
That's I was thinking. I mean, the Malcolm Butler interception on the one that was 10 years ago. That was over a decade ago.
Yeah, over.
That's dude. Are you serious?
It's 10 years and 4 months ago. Yeah.
Dude, would you? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, a lot of stuff is a long time ago. 9/11 is 24 years ago at this point. People 23 weren't alive then.
It's great. You know, I was watching, as I often do, tune back into it, The Last Dance. And that the sixth Bulls championship was 98. Dude, that's almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, imagine like somebody watching NBA now, like when you were watching NBA as a kid, like 30 years before, like 1968. Like, I couldn't tell. I mean, I guess it was pre-internet, so it's different, but like, that's crazy to somebody. I think I brought this up before, where I used to work at this pizza place, and this guy, he was a friend of the owner, so he would just come in and like, we had a TV in there, and it was slow. He would just sit down and like watch TV, and we talk sports and everything. And I would always be like, yeah, like Michael Jordan was the greatest. And he's like, this guy Fred was, I don't know, he's like 85 years old. He's like, no, Wilt Chamberlain. It's like, no one, no, not LeBron, not Michael Jordan, like Wilt Chamberlain. I guess, like, I mean, that he grew up watching Wilt Chamberlain, Yeah. So I mean, I guess I feel like you don't have like too many like most of the LeBron like GOAT defenders. I feel like, I suppose I'm speculating to some extent, but I feel like most of the LeBron GOAT defenders probably didn't grow up watching Jordan.
Oh yeah, of course not. Well, there are some adult men who kind of like suck on LeBron's. You know what? Like I like Jason McIntyre, for example, like the guy who's, I don't even know what he's on at like FS1 or something. I'm not even sure. Like he's like the biggest LeBron simp there is. It's so annoying. And then sometimes when he says something stupid like political, I'm like, sometimes I quote tweet him. I'm like, man, I thought his LeBron takes were awful. Like, I had no
I
idea
think I
like other
saw
things
one
were
of
this bad.
those.
Yeah. It's like this guy's
No.
ridiculous.
Huh.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know, but I always thought that was kind of interesting. But that blows my mind to think that was like 30 years ago.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
wow.
I mean, look, a lot has happened. A lot of time has passed, and you know, you're right that like 30 years before when we were watching as kids, like 68, that seems so long ago. Like I even mentioned that like the year before you're born, years before you're born, if you talk about them, you're like, wow, that's so long ago. Like if it's
Yeah.
like a year after you're born, it's like, oh, I remember that. So yeah, like it's crazy. It's like, you know, 68, that's so close to JFK's assassination. You know, 5 years after that. So that's wild. Because that
Yeah.
seems so long ago to us, you know. And then
Yeah.
18 years before that was World War II.
I happened to put on Independence Day. Remember Independence Day with
Yeah,
Wilson? You know, it was
oh, yeah.
like the summer blockbuster of 1997, I believe.
It was one of
Okay,
those
so
years I saw it in the theater.
yeah, that was I loved it when I was a kid. So at the beginning of Independence Day, they referenced the moon landing, which was 1969,
Yeah.
and Independence Day came out in 1997. More time has passed
Mm.
between the release of Independence Day and today than the moon landing and the release of Independence Day.
Yeah. And yet we haven't been back to the moon since.
That's scary, man.
I think it's scarier that we haven't been back to the moon since. Like, what are we doing?
Let's go. Let's go then.
Let's go. Yeah, I don't know.
Just take a break. Just tell your viewers. You know, see you next
Yeah.
season. You're
Well,
going.
Elon said he's going to colonize Mars, so maybe we'll just skip the moon. The moon's kind of boring. Let's go to Mars. There's at least an atmosphere there. Like,
I'm not.
granted, there's like crazy sandstorms that like will kill you, but like, what can you do?
I'm barely leaving my house. I ain't going to the freaking moon.
Yeah, why
Maybe
no?
I'm-
Mars is the where you want to go, not the moon. There's no atmosphere on the moon. The Mars you can like at least survive for like a little bit. Like you'll get killed by something very quickly, but like you know you won't die instantly.
Yeah. Well, if they
Like
adopt
an hour later, you'll
wind
die.
power, maybe you know.
You'll get killed by sandstorm. I actually watched a video of like how quickly you would die on other planets, and like Mars you would survive the longest outside of obviously Earth.
Okay.
Like the Mars is like your longest chance of surviving or your best chance of surviving. Like there are certain planets you just like die instantly. Like if you go into like the atmosphere,
Oh wow.
like Uranus is methane, and you just like die right away of methane poisoning. And obviously like the super cold planets like Pluto, like you'd freeze to death like within seconds. Not to mention there's no oxygen. And then Mercury, Mercury's funny. It's like it's either super hot, like in the daytime from facing the sun, you would die. You wouldn't even die of heat. You would die of radiation like right away. But like if it's nighttime, you would freeze to death. Just because there's no, it's like the ultimate desert. There's no real atmosphere. It doesn't keep any of the heat in. So like it just goes to like negative 200 degrees like right away. Like Venus is pretty bad. Like Jupiter is like lightning strikes and just murder you. But yeah, Mars you have a chance for like a minute or two, and then sandstorm will kill you. But whatever.
Well, I'm glad you told. I feel a lot more at ease now.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta ask you something.
Yeah.
The Total Recall on Mars was cool. What's up, Mike?
Total Recall is a great movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
So I have to tell you this story about like this person that I worked with. So I worked with him once like a year ago, and like we all like our whole team like went out to dinner.
Mm.
We went to like a yard house. You know, it's like a bar and grill sort of place. And he ordered the fish and chips, and 3 months later, he was still like talking about how he wished he ordered something different. Like
Wow.
he was having diner's remorse. Like, what the hell? Why did you? Who would? He's like, oh, I wish I had ordered something different. Bro, it was like 3 months ago. Why are you still hung up? I thought that was like the strangest thing I've ever heard. Like you're still pining over a meal like that occurred 90 plus days ago. This same guy, we went out to dinner another time. He asked the server, what drinks do you have? The server listed off like every drink they had, and he goes, I'll have a Pepsi. It's like, so this is like what we're dealing. So this is what we're kind of dealing with here, mind you. but it's like, golly, man, you
That's
know.
what. Wait, what kind of restaurant was it? Is it like a like?
The one where he asked for the drinks, it was it's a relatively fancy steakhouse.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, if
and
it's a
might I
good
say,
steakhouse, I would be upset about fish and chips as well.
no. Oh, where he got the fish and chips? No,
Yeah,
these
yeah.
were two separate occasions.
Okay.
The
Oh,
the
okay.
drink order happened at a fancy steakhouse, and
I see. Yeah. Okay.
the fish and chips, the fish and chips incident was at Yard House. It's just like a bar and grill, like.
Oh,
I don't know, like those places to me, it's like you get anything, like you kind of can't go wrong. Like, but he's
yeah.
still, that's so weird. Like, once I have the meal, it's like it's over. Like, I'm not 3 months later gonna be like, oh, I wish I had ordered something. Just go again.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, look, if it's at some remote location you'll never go to again, I could maybe see it. If it's like renowned for something. If you're like, hey, I went to this place, I had the fish and chips, and someone tells you, oh my god, they're whatever, their buffalo chicken sandwich is amazing. You're like, oh man, I wish I would have gotten that. I guess like that's like the only way that it makes sense. But otherwise, I don't know. I never had the issue because I just get the same things at the restaurant. My wife makes fun of me all the time. So I either get I get chicken parm, or I get some sort of wrap, or I get cheeseburger, or if it's a steakhouse, I get a steak, obviously. But if it's not a steakhouse, then I'll get one of those three things, and that way I never have to be upset with myself because it's always the same thing.
I mean, I'm similar. Like I can definitely relate to that, and I do that mostly too. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever had a bad meal in my life.
Really?
Like people like, oh, you're going to that city. Like I can recommend a good restaurant. It's like, I've never had a bad meal. Like I'll find something good. Like people like their burgers are really good here. I don't know. Like I think my sense of taste and smell are weak. Truly, I never had that tested, but
you mean like at a
like
restaurant?
I definitely don't have I don't have a sharp palate at
Okay.
all. I have the opposite of that. Like I only found out I'm 38 years old, almost 39. And I only found out 10 years ago that like I'm the only person that thinks whole milk and non-fat milk tastes different. They taste
Wow.
exactly the same. The one like non-fat milk just looks watered down. You're telling me it tastes I don't taste any difference between any milk. Unless it's
Oh, yeah.
flavored. If you have like a vanilla milk or something, I can taste that. But like I always just get like the non-fat because it's like it looks watery, but there's no taste difference. And everyone was like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Are you serious? I didn't know that."
That's pretty crazy. I think there's like I can taste the difference between skim milk and 1%. Because like
Really?
oh yeah, because we get skim milk all the time. Because I used to drink 2%, and then like my doctor was like, oh, you should do because we have my dad and my grandpa had like heart problems and stuff. So they're like, I was talking to my doctor. He's like, hey, do a couple things here. He's like, get skim milk instead of 2%. So ever since then, I kept getting skim milk. So that's what we get most of the time. Sometimes my wife will like mistakenly get 1%, and like when she does, it's like a holiday. It's like awesome. It's like because the cereal tastes so much better. I can taste it like so much better. And like 2% is like something completely different. Like 2% is like ridiculous. Like it's too rich for me actually at this point. But I can do 1%.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's like a holiday. Did you say
Yeah.
because the cereal?
The cereal tastes better, of course. I have cereal. Wow. That's all I have. Like my wife even today, she was making breakfast for my daughter. And actually, it was lunch because I wake up late. And she was like, "Hey, do you want scrambled eggs?" And I'm like, "No, I'll have corn pops."
Did you have the 1% milk though?
No, it's skinless stuff. But yeah, man, it's still good. It's still good either way.
Damn it! Gotta have your pops, huh?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I told this before that like I was eating Fruity Pebbles for a while. And I started having like green diarrhea, so I had to stop. I felt like that was like a sign that was my body was like, you shouldn't be eating this crap. So I auditioned a couple of cereals. I tried Golden Grams, which I like Golden Grams, but like it's not something I like every day. And then I tried Corn Pops. Like, oh man, I forgot how good Corn Pops were. So I did that. And like I thought about Fruity Pebbles, but they had the red dye and the whatever dye. Like
you can't do
my wife would like banned dyes from our house. So Like we don't have any dyes. Like in fact, like some of the stuff without dye, I'm gonna bring this up here. It's not planned or anything, and do not sponsor us. But these gummy bears are called like Albanese, like
Albanese.
Albanese, yeah, so it is Albanese, yeah.
Yeah.
These gummy bears are so good, and they don't have any dye. It's like all natural fruit and stuff.
Oh wow! What does that say? True to fruit.
True to fruit gummy bears. Yeah, they're not sponsoring the show.
They are true. They are true to fruit.
Yeah, that's what they're called. The true to fruit. And like when I first got them, because my wife was like, "Hey, get some candy for the kids that doesn't have dye in it." I'm like, "Fine." So like I had to like dig through the shelves of like CVS, and I found them. And I'm like, these are not going to be good. Like and whatever. I brought them home, and my wife's tried them. She's like, "Wow, these are really good. Try them." I'm like, "Okay, fine, whatever." And I tried them. I'm like, "Wow, these are great. These are like even better than regular gummy bears." I'm like, why did they put like crap in them? Like the food dyes that apparently cause cancer. So I don't know. I mean, we found some stuff that's doesn't have dye in them. Corn Pops does not have dye. They don't have, I thought they might have like yellow dye. They don't. So so we're done that. We're done that stuff.
Do you remember Amazing Fruit, the gummy bears from the 90s, the commercial?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, it was all the gummy bears were like dancing around in a conga like it's amazing fruit. Yeah. Like I love that commercial as a kid. I recently saw it like on like a nostalgia page or something. I was tripping out.
Oh, that's awesome. I vaguely remember it. I don't think I ever had it, but I vaguely remember it.
You always get some trick or treating. You get some Amazing Fruit. I loved Amazing Fruit.
Yeah, I mean, those are the days. Like you get candy and stuff. You're like, this is the best thing ever. Yeah. And then like I feel like you kind of reach sort of adulthood almost when like you're like, I don't need a trick or treat. I just buy my own candy. It seems so trivial now. And I think you even reach another level now when your kids come home with all this candy from trick or treating, and it's too much for them. Like my son is 3. He brought home all this candy. I guess last Halloween he was 2. Brought home all this candy, and like my wife and I are like, there's no way he's eating all this. I'm like, fine, I'll just take this. So then you take your kids' candy, so now you don't have to pay for candy again once again. Like this whole cycle of life. And like when my kid's old enough to stop trick or treating, I have to buy my own candy again. And then when he has grandchildren, I'll be able to take them out and get free candy.
Yeah, exactly.
So the cycle of life for candy.
That's a beautiful thing, man. I love to hear that. You know. You remember those little drinks? They called them hugs. They look like plastic barrels.
Yeah. We used to have recently.
We there used to be a house in our neighborhood that used to give those out at trick or treat night in lieu of candy.
Yeah, I think I had that too. Someone did that in my neighborhood. I always liked them, and I had some recently. It's my nephew's like 1-year-old birthday party that they had, and they had coolers of drinks, and like one was like alcoholic, one was juice for the kids, and like the juice the kids was hugs. And like, oh wow, I remember this stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. Remember Squeeze-Its with the faces of the characters? They're they're kind of like Kool-Aid. No, it was like Squeeze-Its, and they had like character faces on the plastic bottles. Google search it. You'll remember. You got to see it because the faces were like they're meant to like. They're animated in the commercials.
Oh yeah, I do remember these. Yeah, I remember these.
Yeah. They had the faces. I think they were like all like
Yeah. Well, what I do remember is Disney popsicles.
Oh my god! Yeah, let's get these. Yeah. Those. Yeah. Something about that color, the color arrangement of that like orange, red, purple, orange.
Mm-hmm.
There was something like weirdly that box there, the one that you've got your cursor near, or that's highlighted there. Yeah, it's like there's something so oddly nostalgic about that color combination to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Donald would always be purple, red, Mickey was red, and Goofy was orange. Yeah, I always remember that for some reason. Like whenever I see those Disney characters on whatever, if my kid's watching something. Always like, oh man, Mickey was red, Donald's purple, and Goofy was orange. Those are so good.
Wow. That's. Do you remember Slush Puppy?
Slush Puppy. I don't.
Yeah, bring up the Slush Puppy. You'll. I bet you'll know it when you see it.
Oh yeah,
the dog with the dog. We had a Slush Puppy machine at my elementary school.
Yeah.
And you just like the sizes were so, it was like one of those small styrofoam cups because they don't probably, they don't want to give kids too much sugar, I suppose. But they would be like, we had lunch monitors working there. That would be like, you had to do like the one pump of the sugar and then like you put the ice in,
Mm-hmm.
or however it worked. But you were only allowed one pump of the sugar. But like sometimes like you would try to sneak like another one. So good because those are so good.
Do you want to
And
buy?
people would get yelled at. People would get yelled at for it.
Do you want to
200 wait for
you
the
want to buy?
cups?
Yeah, $210.
Wait, what was it? 1,000 count?
1,000 count. Yeah.
What are we gonna do with 1,000 slush puppy cups?
I don't know. Something cool.
It's like, yeah, I got $210 extra just to do nothing with. That'd be hilarious. Yeah, I guess we wouldn't have to do dishes. I mean, oh, how about the Mickey? Go down a little bit. The Mickey chocolate ears one. There you go.
Yeah,
The Mickey
that's
face.
right.
That one that's a lot of nostalgia. The one with the face on it.
Yeah.
Or
I always like the popsicles more. I like the popsicles
Mhm.
more than the ice cream, but no, those. I mean, they're all great. I went back here to see if any were for sale, but man, how do you maintain that?
Yeah.
I think it's long gone. Why doesn't Disney make this again? Like, I feel like
I
they'd
don't
make a
know.
killer.
Yeah, I feel like they could too. Remember Ecto Cooler?
Yo, yeah, I used to drink Ecto Cola all the time.
Yeah, isn't it so weird that like as far as I know, yeah, bringing it with like Slimer, like Slimer was always part of Ecto Cooler, but like was there like what was the association? Like was there ever like high C product placement in Ghostbusters, or was just like let's just throw Slimer on here? I mean, obviously I am aware that there are rights and trademarks and whatnot, but like it's so weird. Like there's only anything Ghostbusters related on Ecto Cooler, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
Why did it end there? But it worked. It worked in such a weird way.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the affiliation is, but it was good.
Yeah.
Everyone had it. That was like the cool drink to have, and like that's why we got it. Like I was like, Mom, all the kids are drinking Ecto Cooler. They're like, I'm like the one dork who doesn't have it. Like, can you please get Ecto Cooler? And she did. Now I don't know if they were still around. I think my wife would look at if they had any food coloring. But I think they probably would.
Yeah, I'd like to get some Ecto Cooler actually.
Dude, you can order for $20.
Okay. Well,
only 5 available. You better hurry.
There was this kid who was a year ahead of me in high school, and remember Surge? I love the Surge logo too. Yeah. It was like that.
Yeah.
That Nickelodeon type of like splatter. I know that's a terrible description of it. The Surge logo was so cool looking, and it was I love the soda as a kid.
Yeah, I never had this. I always saw it, and always like kind of
it's back.
It like freaked me out, like the colors, and like I was like, I feel like it's just like too much sugar for me,
Yeah, I love the color scheme. I don't know. It was just like a different logo as a kid. I didn't drink a ton of it, but I really liked it. Yeah, and this kid from my high school, he loved it. He had it by the case. We used to go to his house. He had like cases and cases of it in his garage, and then they discontinued it. They stopped making it. So
currently unavailable.
Yeah, so one single can only. Wow, yeah, send me one can of Surge, please. Imagine it gets busted on the way en route. I'd be so pissed.
I know.
I have this empty Surge can.
Yeah, you open it like the sprays everywhere.
Oh yeah. So anyhow, they discontinued making Surge, and Eric like kept this one Surge in the fridge. I don't know how long it was. It couldn't have been too terribly long, I don't think. But he was like, keeping it, I guess, for posterity's sake. Is that the right word? Like he wasn't ever going to drink it. He just wanted to keep it forever. And like a friend of his came over and didn't know that he was doing that. Yeah. So he was like, whoa, he went into his fridge. He's like, whoa, Surge. Like, I didn't know they still made this stuff. And he opened it. Oh, Eric was so mad. And then he just drank it. He ended up just drinking it.
I think we talked about this before.
Oh, really?
Because I had like Crystal Pepsi, because like they brought it back for like a week or something, and like I had it, and then my wife's friend that comes over, and it's like hey, have anything from the fridge, and it's like the Crystal Pepsi's open. I'm like, no.
Hey, when's the last time you had Sunny D?
I don't think I ever had Sunny D. I never. It's never anything I had. Like I always had like regular orange juice, but not this.
Well, Sunny D is like pure sugar, I feel like, but
Yeah, it's
it
like
was all
orange.
right.
It's orange drink. It wasn't orange juice.
Yeah. Oh
Um,
no, it wasn't like orange juice at all. Like it wasn't
no,
didn't have pulp or anything, unless there was a Sunny D with pulp or something that I didn't know about.
no. Well, look at this. Apparently, this is not loading. It's from Acme. Acme's not working. It's a Sunny D vodka. There we go. It is loading. Yeah, Sunny D vodka seltzer. How about that? That's pretty cool.
Remember the commercials? It's like all the kids are like over like playing. They're coming inside from playing basketball. Like, what do you have to drink? It's like soda, water, purple stuff. Oh, look, Sunny D.
The purple drink.
Yeah, purple. They always said purple stuff.
So Jamarcus
There,
Russell's house.
there was always purple stuff in like every fridge in the '90s too. I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah, I have a grape
Sharkberry
soda. I have a
Finn.
grape soda right there on my shelf. Some
Oh, really?
savings. Another one. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like you just get grape soda anywhere, but I don't know.
Grape Fanta.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. Yeah.
There's too many. Do we really need to have that many soda flavors? I guess. You ever go to one of those big machines like at Wawa? It's like there's like 800 flavors in there, man.
It's awesome. You get to like experiment, and I should just get like regular Coke most of the time. But yeah, you can always experiment, and I don't know. It's never bad to have a lot of options.
Wait, do you go there and ask the clerk at Wawa to list off all 500 flavors of the machine and just say, "I'll have a Coca-Cola"?
I should do that. That'd be a nice skit to do. I always wanted to do those skits. I kind of did them. My one class, I took a class. It was a speech class at Penn State, and we basically for one project we had to just like do skits and stuff like that in public. And like for example, this one of the skits I had to this girl we found this girl just sitting by herself in like in the hub. The hub is, for those who don't know, from Penn State. It's basically like the central building, and like they have everything there. They have offices. They have like small rooms you can study there. They have like and they're downstairs. They have a bunch of tables. They have restaurants, not restaurants, but like burger things, like a mall almost. And like you can sit down and eat and like study or whatever. So we found this girl. She attractive girl. She's just like studying by herself, and like I just sit down next. The skip for me was to sit down next to her, and like apparently they told me like she looked at me and like she smiled, but like my goal was to like not say anything, and to like within like every minute to get like inch closer to her, inch closer to her, inch closer to her, inch closer to her, and like within 10 minutes I was like basically like my arm was like on her like papers, and like I was supposed to not say anything. Like the whole thing. Like I'm just not supposed to say anything, and like until like we got a reaction from her, and then like eventually she just left, and she like 5 minutes later, I wasn't at the table anymore. I went back with the rest of my group. 5 minutes later, she came back with this jack dude. Apparently, they're like come beat me up or something. I don't know.
And that was the end of your social experiment.
We had a good laugh at that. No, they never saw us, but like it was. So we did a bunch of skits like that, and like I was always the guy acting out because I didn't care. Like for some reason, again, like I was the oldest person in the class. I was a fifth-year senior at that point. I see. So the rest of them were like sophomores and freshmen, and so like I was like the only one who didn't care. I'm like guys, I'll do anything. I don't care. So I was always the person acting out like on camera, like doing like wacky stuff like for this group. I had so much fun doing that, and like I always like kind of. Like one of my regrets is like not doing that further when like YouTube first came out. So I feel like I would have done anything. Like it would have been like, remember that show Jackass? Like not like getting myself hurt. I always thought those things are stupid. Like the ones the skits where like they do weird stuff in public and get public reaction, like weird reactions and stuff like that. Always like those shows, like those segments. I thought, and I was like, I had the mentality that I would do anything on camera. Like I just wouldn't care.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was always.
I mean, it's never too late for you.
Yeah, I guess not. I don't know. I mean, only 42, 43 in 2 months, so I could still do it. I guess. I don't know.
That's right. I always forget you're like 3 years old. Yeah, you're 3 years older than me.
I always forget you're super old. I'm 4 years older than you.
Wait, you're going to be
39 soon. I'm going to be
42, and I'm going to be 39 at the end of August.
Yeah, I'm going to be 43 in August.
Oh, you're going to be 43 in August. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, even older than you thought.
Wow.
Yeah, mid-30s. Mid-30s. Mid-40s, not mid-30s. Mid-40s. Mid-40s. It's a
Well,
little
you've
up there
gone
in age.
senile already.
I know. I'm losing it. Actually, I couldn't sleep last night because, well, not night. I sleep from like 6 a.m. till usually 11:30 a.m. like on weekends, which is fine for 5.5 hours. Is like great for me. But like my wife turned on the dryer, which is on the second floor. It's like like my room's here. The next room is the laundry room, and I don't know why she does the laundry in the morning, well, quote unquote morning. And like the dryer woke me up. I'm like, come on, man. And so I woke up at like 10 today. So I slept like, and I went to bed at 6:30 because what happened? Oh, my wife's alarm kept going off. So I slept like 3.5 hours. So I'm kind of a little loopy right now. Like I was reading to my son to bed, like taking him to bed, and I was like falling asleep as I was reading it. He's like, Dad, why'd you stop reading? I'm like, oh sorry. That happens all the time. So
I remember. Yeah, go ahead.
go. No, you go because I was switching topics. Go ahead.
Oh, I remember it made me think of this because you're reading to your son. I remember when I was in, I believe it was 7th grade, I had like a reading class and I had to read this book. We split up the class into like 5 different groups and each group had to read like their own book. So this was only like me and like 4 other students in my group or 5 other students in my group. We had to read this book it was called Travels with Charlie by John Steinbeck.
Okay.
And it was about John Steinbeck was much older, but it was like a story about he and his dog Charlie, and like they traveled the country together. But it's like a very funny memory like I have of my mom. Like I was reading and like I was like, this book is so boring. This book is so boring. Like I cannot get through this. I was in 7th grade and I asked my mom. I was like, Mom, like I felt so bad. I was like, this is gonna sound really stupid, but could you read some of this to me? Like I cannot get through it. I could not get through this. And my mom, who's awesome, she's like, okay, like she did. My mom gets through like 3 or 4 pages and she closes the book and she's like, I'm sorry, I can't do this. She's like, this is the dumbest book I've ever heard.
That's awesome.
It was so hard to get through. I couldn't tell you a thing about it, man. Except that it was about John Steinbeck taking his dog Charlie around wherever they're travels with Charlie.
You know what that reminds me of is those SAT like English like sections where you'd have to read a story and then they'd ask you like, what do you think the author meant by this?
Oh God.
This stories are so boring. I had to like read them 5 times, and like by the time like I read the 3rd story the 5th time, like the time was up, and so I just that's why like when my SAT scores were like I believe I had a 710 or 720 in math, and I had like a 480 in English, and yet I'm a full-time writer. Like just because like I could not finish those stories, they were so boring. And I just like had to read them 5 times, and I was like, I don't know what the author meant. This author stinks. I don't know.
Yeah,
I could never answer those questions.
Yeah, man. I skimmed through some of those readings. I just guessed at some of them. I had such a bad attitude about school back then. I mean, I always got all A's and B's, but I was just like, I was going to school for music. I didn't care. I was like, I know I'll get enough. Like,
yeah. Well, I was going to school for computer science, and that didn't turn out as I thought. So.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, but anyhow, oh, you know what? Kind of backtracking a little bit. I worked at pizza places forever, and you know what people would do sometimes? I love like you ever interact with some of these people, it's like their first visit to Earth. And like they call the pizza place and they ask me what toppings we have. It's like I mean, what do you think we have? Have you ever ordered a pizza before?
Right.
I mean, yeah, and I understand that there's places like more mom and pop, they might have more obscure toppings or I don't know, something like black olives versus green olives or like I don't know, like but it's like, what do you really want? I've had people make me list like all like 30 toppings like we had and then be like, okay, I'll just have pepperoni. I mean, it's like, what do you how do you get
That's awesome.
You know, if I witnessed a friend of mine doing that, I think I would have to. Actually, you know what? I did do that once, and I kind of felt bad. This is actually kind of an interesting story. One of my friends, like, we're at a friend of mine's wedding. This is almost 10 years ago, actually. And you know, so this is back in my drinking days, and we were all like having an after party in like our hotel rooms, like after the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And someone was like, "Let's order pizza." You know, so anyhow, and like my friend's, not the bride, but like my friend's wife who was there, uh she was like calling, and I was like, "Hey, like, do we know like where we are? Like, do we know what we want?" And she was like, "No," and I was like, "You should probably hang up the phone." I felt like an ass later, but I was like, I mean, you know, I don't drink anymore, but
Right, right.
I don't know, I wasn't like a real, like, I still talk to them, like it's fine, but like really though, I always hated that, like answering that call, like people are like, "Hi, like we want a delivery." It's like, okay, like, can I get your phone number? Hang on, hey, what's your phone number here? Back when I was, you know, they used to say that when people were calling from home lines, when that's how
Right.
long ago I worked in pizza places,
Home line. It's like
but
some 20-year-old listening. What's a home line? What's that?
yeah, yeah. But then I'd be like, okay, what's your address? Oh, hang on. Hey, what's the address here? Okay, so now there's a delay in that,
Right.
and all this background noise, you know. And then it's like, okay, no, I got all their information. Okay, what would you like? All right, hang on 1 second. Hey, what do you guys want? It's like, why did you call us?
Right.
I want to know what the conversation was before you decided to pick up the phone. And I guess it was similar to the one that we had at that wedding after party.
Yeah.
I did kind of feel like a jerk, but I felt bad. It probably wasn't as bad, you know. I wasn't like yelling or anything, but I was like hang up the phone then. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like don't do that to him. And also, it's going to be like a huge pain. Like, let's get it figured out before you call him. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think you have that sort of thought process when you're drinking, you know.
Yeah. Well, hey, one of the many reasons I quit. So
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Let's get through these comments. Patrick saying playing GTA Vice City while listening to Walter Football
hey,
Podcast. Life is good.
thanks for joining, Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick. By the way, I saw the first 2 episodes of the Black Mirror season right now, the latest season. So I watched the one with the, you know, kind of like the one with Rashida Jones, where she basically was in a coma and they revived her. But it was like a subscription fee. I'm not spoiling it.
Okay.
I'm not spoiling anything. That's just that's the summary of it. And then the second one, which was based on the Mandela Effect. I watched those two. I thought the Mandela Effect one was great. The one with Rashida Jones, I thought it was funny. It was okay. I don't know. It was acted well, I guess, but it wasn't one of my favorites. But the Mandela Effect one was awesome. I thought that was a great one. So those are the only 2 ones we watched so far. So hopefully we get through some more recently. I feel like my wife was pissed off at me tonight, so I don't think we're gonna be watching tomorrow. But that's what happens in marriage. If like, yeah, if your wife is pissed off at you, you stop watching TV shows for like a couple of days, and then she forgets about it, and she forgets what she was mad about. So that is that's what happens here. But no, I thought like I said, the Mandela Effect one was awesome. So yeah, I recommend at least the first 2 episodes. I didn't even get to the Paul Giamatti one. That
was a good one.
Oh, so you watched? Oh, you went out of order then.
Yeah, I did. I just took Patrick's recommendation of that episode.
Okay, yeah. Well, we're going sequential here. Not that like you really need to, because one episode doesn't have anything to do with another. Although there is, they do some callbacks. Like again, not a spoiler, but in the first one with the kind of like the subscription episode, they're at a bar and some woman starts singing, and it's the song that they played in the episode where, remember, the guy's working out and like he keeps accruing points, and then gives his points to the girl, and she sings a song, and she becomes a famous singer, but actually she becomes like a porn star at the end. I forget what episode, what that was called, but it was like in the first season. I think it was like actually the second episode ever in Black Mirror. I don't know I forget what the episode is called. It was one of my favorites. But the song that she sings to become famous was the song that they were singing at the bar, a woman singing at the bar. So they always have these sort of callbacks. Patrick says Paul Giamatti's one is awesome, but also might be as connected with it more. Seems like tons of people love it though. IMDb has it as one of the best in the whole series. Okay, that's awesome. So yeah, we'll get to it eventually. Hopefully, my wife's not pissing me tomorrow, so we can watch more episodes.
Yeah, Nosedive is my favorite with the rating system. Still, as I've said before.
Yeah, that was a really good one. There were, I mean, there's so many Black Mirror episodes that are great. The season 15 Million Merits is the one I'm talking about. The analysis, the description is: in our sarcastic version of the future, everyone is confined to a life of strange physical drudgery. The only way to escape this life is to enter the hot shot talent show and pray you can impress the judges. 15 Million Merits is a satire on entertainment shows and our insatiable thirst for distraction. Yeah, I mean, I take it you that doesn't sound familiar to you, because
I haven't actually seen all that too many episodes. I probably maybe not even 10 episodes.
Yeah, you should watch.
I need to watch them all through.
Yeah. That was the second episode, season 1, episode 2. That's one of my favorites as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, you'll see it. The girl sings that song. It's the song they sing in the bar in the first episode this season. So like they always have these callbacks. Like they'll say like this company, like that company was mentioned in the other episode. Like they'll do that sometimes. Which I think is pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, I should watch them in order.
Yeah. There's some ones that are not great, but I feel like the early ones were the best. Patrick says I watched the first Black Mirror episode at work in my gym job in college. That was believe that was the one with the what?
No, I'm reading his comment.
Yeah, it was the one with the government guy, and he had to do the stuff with the pig. Yeah, then the pig came on screen. All I can say, I'm glad I wasn't fired for watching that on the work computer. Yeah, that was an interesting episode. That was actually not one of my favorites. It's like very memorable because some weird stuff happens in that episode. But like, and it was a good episode. But like, then I watched 15 Million Merits. I'm like, this one's much better. And then they were a lot better. So if I had to rank all of them, it would probably be near the bottom. No, it wouldn't be near the bottom. It would be like probably like right below the average, like the Mendoza line. Like it would be like right below it.
Yeah, so, a lot of people don't like that one. I feel like, and I understand because it is rather bizarre, especially depending on who you ask. Incredibly bizarre. I mean, it was a weird choice as the first, because that's season 1, episode 1, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a weird choice, I think, to be the pilot. I think that show probably could have picked up more popularity if it weren't for that, because most people I talk to, like, were kind of like put off by it. It's like, I mean, I was too, but like, I don't know, like I understand, I guess, like the art form of the space that it occupies in media, I guess, if you will. Like, I still thought it was weird, but like, a lot of people were put off by it, I think, to the point where they didn't want to watch the show anymore. I think I've had a couple people tell me that, so I thought it was a really weird choice for a pilot. I'll say it. I didn't dislike the episode, but I wouldn't watch it again.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Didn't hate it, but I don't want to watch it again. Whereas, like, I'll watch some of the greater ones multiple times. The guinea pig memories is the bottom for me, says Patrick. Yeah, that was a pretty bad one. The one I didn't like I think the one I liked the least was the one with the two friends who were playing the video game, and I don't know if I'm sure if you don't know what I'm talking about by now, you haven't seen it. So I don't want to spoil it for you, but the two friends who get like super involved in a video game, and then weird stuff happens. So I'll leave it at that. I thought that was the worst episode. It was kind of gross.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so you should definitely watch more.
Yeah,
you should watch the rest of them. Brandon says, haven't heard people say Halliburton this often since the Iraq War. Nice. As a patch says, unfortunately, episode you have next in season 7 kind of sucks too. This is the it's kind of super long. It's like an hour 20. Is something with like a hotel or something. Good style, but could not care less about the main story. Okay, yeah, that was the next one. It was actually it was long, so I wondered if it was the Giamatti episode, and it wasn't. But yeah, that's disappointing. That's like the longer one is kind of bad, but I guess we'll get through it. I'm not going to skip them. Sue says the Oilers and Panthers seem dead even to me, so I'm just betting the one at plus money or even better odds. That's a good strategy. I don't know. Do you have any take on who's going to win the finals? I haven't even like looked at any of the odds. I suppose I can pull them up.
Both games have gone into overtime. These teams have experienced. We went to 7 games last year in strange fashion, with the Panthers going up 3-0 and then the Oilers storming back to force Game 7.
Mm-hmm.
These teams are familiar with each other. There's bad blood. I think this series has 7 games written all over it. So if you can bet that prop, I like that for the series to end in 7 games. And Game 1 went into overtime, and Game 2 went into double overtime. So I don't think that's a bad. It's necessarily a bad approach there, Slow.
I'm not seeing anything for the series on FanDuel. I'm not sure why, but look, Edmonton is plus money. By the way, this handle sucks. Minus 134 versus plus 112. What a joke! Like that is awful. It's a 22-cent line. Usually it's like 10. like as a comparison on Bookmaker. Let's look at what they have here. So it's a 16-cent line. It's plus 117 to minus 133. So I guess it's like compared to that, it's like not terrible, but it still seems off.
134. That's your number boxed, and the other one's 133. There it is.
Boxed, yeah.
Take them, yeah. Take the Panthers then.
Take the Panthers, yeah. My for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, like I always see the number 143 everywhere. And it's not like sometimes it's not like hey you paid attention to the number. Of course you see it. Like I'm always like hey, do I see 142 a lot or 144 or 141 or 145? Like I don't. Like, it seems like every time I look at the clock in the afternoon, it's 143. Anytime like something comes up, it's 143. Like I was looking at his stock price, it was like 143. Like for some reason it always pops up for me. I have no idea why. I don't know if it's anything. This is since like childhood. It's been a long time. I don't know why, but it just does. So I don't know. Maybe play like the lottery, like 143 or something. I don't know, but I have no idea why. Maybe this is a Black Mirror episode and then we're in
it. Our whole lives are one. Huh? Yeah, it's 133 for me. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was about to say, like, if we're in a simulation, there's no way we would know it. So
there's a way that you could get out.
How's that?
I don't know. I bet there's a way.
Would you want to even get out? I don't know if I'd want to get out.
You wouldn't. You would take the blue pill. You'd stay.
Well, the thing is, if this is a simulation, there's a chance that my kids aren't real. You know, so I don't want to like live in a reality where they're not real. You know.
I understand. Yeah, I always love Cypher. He's like, I know what you're thinking, because I was thinking the same thing. Why, oh, why didn't I take the blue pill?
Yeah,
I always thought that was interesting. I can't remember if I saw like an article on it or something that reminded me of it. But remember in The Matrix, the original, obviously from '99, the best one and arguably the only good one, but that they said that was the peak of our society or something like that. I can't remember the exact wording. That was 1999, and that was about right.
Well, look, I mean, this is something Tim Pool says all the time, but like there's just been cultural stagnation since the 90s. Because like if you think of any decade, like each decade has its own personality. Like if I told you like, hey, like remember the 90s, like you'll be able to like think of like all this stuff from the 90s. Same with the 80s and 70s, 60s, 50s, etc. Like if you go like, hey, remember the 10s? Remember like what happened in the 10s? They're like nothing. It's like people still think people still romanticize about old stuff. Like Hot Topic. This is Tim Pool's example. In Hot Topic, they have Nightmare Before Christmas like in front. Like that movie is what 30 plus years old.
Yeah,
Like they haven't like there's no like new cool thing that has popped up, and it's because like fewer people are having kids these days, and so they have to market to the millennials. Like Gen Alpha is like 40 million compared to millennials, which is like 80 million or something, 90 million. This is like depopulation like crisis. Like it's insane. I don't know. Like
Wow.
it's pretty bad. It's gonna get bad. Like when when the boomers move on, like there's not gonna be anyone to do anything. It reminds me of do you ever watch the show The Leftovers?
No, I don't think so.
So I think one of my favorite shows of all time. It's definitely in top 10.
Really?
It's so good. It's from the creators of Lost. The premise of the show is a 10% of the world's population disappears. Just within a blink of an eye. Like the first scene, a woman is with her kids in the car at a grocery store, and there's like gone. Like the two kids are just disappeared into thin air. And so this is kind of like the ramifications of that. And so without it's not like I don't want to spoil it for you, but just think about how a world with 90% of its people could still function. But can you imagine if like the inverse happened and 90% of the people disappeared? You had 10%, and like you even had a character like talking about this on the show. This is not I'm not spoiling it, but like a character like just hypothetically saying it's like, hey, can you imagine if it's 10%? Like there'd be no one to fly airplanes. There'd be very few airplanes. It'd be hard to travel. It'd be hard to do anything. Like people wouldn't be working like most jobs. Like you'd show up to stores, like there wouldn't be anyone there. It'll all be looted. There's no police to stop people because there's so few people. Like just like scatter around the world, and like that's that's kind of like where Patrick says Leftovers is top 5 all time. Yeah, probably it is amazing. Twin Peaks, Breaking Bad, and Lost are better, but man is right there. Yeah, I totally agree. I would rate those 3 above Leftovers. But Leftovers, there's some scenes in that show, like the ones in the hotel and the guys in the hotel. They're so good.
Where can I stream it?
It was on HBO.
Okay.
So wherever you streamed Game of Thrones, you could probably stream Leftovers. That is just an amazing show, and there's a controversial ending because the end, and I'm not spoiling it, but like the ending is basically one character talking to another, and you don't know if the character saying whatever she says is lying, and like if she's telling the truth, it's a completely different ending than if she's lying or not, and it's like you just don't know, and so it's whenever I talk to anyone about the show, I'm like, do you think that person was lying? Because like that's basically just something that was highly discussed when that show was live. It was like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago probably.
Wow,
yeah, no, it came on right after Lost ended because it was the same people who did Lost. No, you should watch Leftovers. It's so good.
Well, that's interesting. And you're saying why didn't they make a movie where 90% of the population disappeared? They did. It was called Independence Day.
It
was
a hit. The aftermath. The aftermath of Independence Day would have been cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know what's funny about that? It's like at the end of the movie, Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum come back from space and they're smoking cigars and like celebrating, understandably, and like holding that kid. And he's like, "Didn't I promise you fireworks?" It's like, yeah, that's all well and good and stuff, but we got a lot of work ahead of us now.
Yes, yeah,
we got to rebuild humanity. Like everything's just like pulverized.
Yeah, they should have launched like a series of that, like the aftermath of that. I think that would be cool. And they could have feared the aliens coming back. Like this is before streaming and stuff, but I feel like if it was just released now, they would have done a series after that. The patch says argument could be it's the most consistent great show since Lost season 2, Twin Peaks season 2, episodes 10 through 17. Yeah, after David Lynch left for like 8 episodes. Wires season 2 and 5 had down moments. Yeah, Wires season 5 is pretty bad. Season 2 is okay. Twin Peaks season 1, first half of season 2, and season 3, like the best TV you'll ever see. Like the second half of season 2 was such nonsense. like there's some good stuff there, but like there's a lot of scenes that are like, what is this replacement of David Lynch doing? R.I.P. David Lynch, by the way. It's pretty sad that he died. Mm-hmm. But no, the Twin Peaks was a masterpiece outside of those 8 episodes. And then Lost season 2, it felt like there's a lot of filler there because like they had 24 episodes. This is back when now shows are like 10 episodes. Like this is like 24 episodes, and they had to do some filler. And by the way, you could include Lost season 2 and season 3 episode with Nikki and Paulo. That's like renowned as like the worst episode because you've never seen Lost. So real quick, again, not a spoiler. There were just how in show there in like a show if there's like people around, you have your like core group of characters. You have like in Lost there's like 8, 10 or so core characters. And then there's side characters you see on the side. They maybe they have a line here and there. They usually don't have a line. They're in the background. Like you know what I'm talking about? Like, or am I losing you? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Try run it by me again.
So like if you have a show with like 10 groups of characters,
yeah,
and then think about a dumb show like Friends. You've seen Friends.
I'm aware of.
Okay, you have your 6 friends. And then pretend they're always in the coffee shop. Pretend there's like some guys walking in the background, but they always use the same background characters. That way they don't have to find new people. But these people don't have lines. They might have like one line in like a whole season.
Okay.
They had Lost in the episode. I don't know what it was called, but the main characters were Nikki and Paulo in that episode, and they were 2 side characters that like never had lines before. You always see them in the background. And then for some reason they thought, hey, let's make an episode about Nikki and Paulo. And like it was so bad. It was horrible.
That usually doesn't work, man.
No, it was terrible. It was
terrible.
Terrible.
They kind of messed that. Well, here's the thing with The Simpsons, it worked early on, but then it's like as the show went on, they tried to really like make main characters over people. Like great characters like Barney Gumble or Ned Flanders, who are both awesome legendary characters, but it doesn't always work. But I mean, like it did work for obviously so many others, but I just think, they're just running out of stuff to write about. What's so weird about The Simpsons is I know the first like 9 to 10 seasons like the back of my hand, more or less.
Really?
Like the real golden age. And like I have other friends who know like those same 10 seasons just as well, and like we still like go back and forth like quoting it.
Mm-hmm.
But and that was a lot of people I knew. The Simpsons was huge. I don't know a single person. I've never heard in 20 years someone say that they still watch The Simpsons, like they keep up with it. I've never heard, how could that be? Now I'm sure there's some people that watch it, but it's like how could it be that in 20 years not a single person has? I've never heard a murmur or like cross conversation or just happen to be talking to somebody randomly or whatever. There's so many opportunities for that to happen. Not once has someone told me like, oh, I still watch The Simpsons. Yeah.
I don't,
or at least like, maybe here and there, or like regularly. I haven't heard either.
I don't know anyone who still watches The Simpsons. I just don't.
I'm telling you, and Patrick, I'm gonna your quote there about The Simpsons predictions are true. Well, I think I don't know all of them by heart, and somebody could probably debunk this easily, maybe because I haven't done enough research myself. But like, I don't think so. Think about what I was just saying. Like, I don't know anyone, and like you never really heard of anyone who says they still keep up with The Simpsons, yet they have like 20, 25, 30 episodes per season, and they're at like 35 seasons, and nobody's really watching it. If they are, maybe casually, but like, okay, are these predictions they're making, is it like the basis of an entire episode, or is it just kind of like a little like 15-second or like 20-second bit like in an episode, and they're like, oh look, like we predicted the future because I'm here to tell you, like, who's watching it? Like, if we think no one's really watching it, and if they are, they're not watching it closely, there's like hundreds and hundreds of episodes to choose from. Just like slide it in somewhere after the fact and be like, look what we did. There's like no one to check them. I mean, someone would check them, I guess, but like, how could you? I don't know. Like, I think someone could poke holes in my theory probably easily, but
so that would require someone to watch all the episodes of The Simpsons.
Exactly. or own like all the original DVDs and then spot check. I mean, I guess they could do that. But I mean,
didn't they ban one episode of The Simpsons or something, or a season?
I believe it's season 2, episode 1. It's either season 2, episode 1, or season 3, episode 1. It's one more where Homer's in the like the mental ward, and the guy he's with is voiced by Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Stark Raving Dad. Homer.
Yeah, Stark Raving Dad. Yeah,
for wearing pink shirt to work. Why is that one banned? I forget. you know why?
Is it because Michael Jackson did the voice or something?
That can't be. Why would that? Like, he's been dead for a long
I
time.
don't know. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Oh, okay, okay. So, detailed alleged allegations of child sexual abuse against Michael Jackson. Okay,
Hmm.
and he voiced the character in the episode.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, that's weird. Like they'd say that about him when he was voicing the character.
Well, that was before that all came out.
Right, but like they were talking about his sexual abuse allegations, but he was voicing the character in that episode. Isn't that strange? Like you, like, hey, come on the show, we'll make fun of you and like talk about your sexual allegations.
Oh wait, they were saying that on the show, like on the episode itself.
Uh, yeah.
See, it's
Okay.
like I think it's like
Yeah.
I mean I've never searched for it, but I think it's unavailable. Like if you look on Hulu or Disney Plus, it's not there. Stark Raving Dad, it's not there.
Yes. Okay. So,
I'm
okay,
sure if you can find it pirated
I
somewhere.
misread it because where I'm talking and reading at the same time, which for someone who's going see now, it's pretty tough. Uh, Leaving Neverland detailed allegations of child sexual abuse. That's what it was against Michael Jackson, who voiced the character in the show. You can't. Well, you ban a character. You ban an episode because Michael Jackson voiced the character, or like. Are they going to ban Sonic 3 because Michael Jackson made the music for Sonic 3? Like, what is like that's stupid. That's the only reason they did that. That's
Yeah,
fun.
I mean the thing about it, obviously, that's horrible, you know, things. But like at the same time, like I had a friend who said she was embarrassed, to, like tell people like she still enjoyed watching the Cosby Show, and it's like, well, I
Yeah.
told her I was like, I don't know that I would go like shouting it from the mountaintops, but at the same time, like no one knew at the time like that like Bill Cosby was that kind of person, and there's writers and editors and camera people and producers and directors and so many people that were part and other actors that were part of this project, like
Yeah.
so they're all screwed too. Like it's obviously I'm not condoning those sorts of things, but like it's like there's I don't know, I was kind of think about it like that. There's so many more
Yeah.
people, and like how could you ever know like what people like what that many people think of how many people are involved with that production? Like
Right.
how could anyone know? So I don't know. I think about it like that too. Like there's like kind of like you said, like why should it be like that Simpsons episodes? There are other people that were involved in the creation of that, and like they don't get their I mean I see. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting to think about.
Yeah.
But uh, go
No,
ahead,
it's just
sir.
like I would have no issues watching the Cosby Show if I thought it was a good show. With like Cosby Show was so hit or miss. Like sometimes episodes would be really good, sometimes it'd be like, this is terrible.
I
Um,
never actually watched it.
Okay, I didn't watch like every episode. I watched a handful, but some episodes are great. I laughed a lot, and some episodes are like this is boring. So it was super hit or miss.
Hmm.
But no, I like I don't know. He was a scumbag, but like I feel like I could differentiate. Like I sometimes listen to Michael Jackson music. Like my wife and I saw
Sure, yeah.
Michael Jackson Cirque du Soleil when we were in Vegas. Like
Hmm.
we had no issues with that. And like I mean, if the allegations are true, then it's awful. But um, I don't know. He was still a super talented musician, so I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Um,
I see what you're saying. Well, with that, I want to let the public know that I've got the Buffalo Bills at 40-1 to win the Super Bowl.
well, people are like, wait a second, what shady sports book are you using?
No, I made a 3-team parlay: the Carolina Hurricanes to win Game 5, that SGA over. I can't remember what game it was, and both of those hit. And then I parlayed it $5 to win 200, and the third and final leg of the parlay is the Bills to win the Super Bowl. You should start doing that. Every bet you make, just take $5 off of it and parlay it with one of your favorite futures.
I used to do that when you would issue your picks for baseball and hockey, whatever. Actually, I
Oh
would
yeah,
parlay
that's
that
right.
with like a Super Bowl winner. That was a lot of fun. No, I mean I get that. Like right now, I'm focused on the exactas, which I am currently like personally. I have an Excel sheet with all my bets, free bets. I'm currently up to $1,630 in free bets. I've not wagered a single dime on any of these. These are all bonus bets that I've accrued with like, bonus bet offer or deposit bonus, etc. I put like $100 on Bills over Rams, $100 on Bills over Redskins, $100 Bills over Vikings, and Chiefs over Rams, Chiefs over Redskins, Chiefs over Vikings, Rams over Bills, Rams over Chiefs, etc., etc. I've done kind of like I'm doing a 4x3, 4 teams from the NFC, 3 teams from the AFC, and that would end up costing about $2,400. Actually, exactly $2,400 for free. But I have not wagered a single dime. I'm up to $1,630 in free bets, so it's 2/3 of the way there. So it'd be pretty sweet. Like and these are like on average. I think the average that I'm betting on is 88 to 1. So hitting one of these 88 to 1, $100 to win 8,800. That'd be pretty sweet. It'd be a nice payout. $100. Well, actually, wagering 0 to win 8,800. actually a nice scheme I've cooked up here. So I've been posting it on the site. Like I've only gone to $50 because like I have less leeway here because I'm not counting deposit bonuses because a lot of people don't have access to it. But like I think I don't know. I feel like it's great. Like FanDuel, they'll say like, "Hey, we'll give you $250 if you deposit $1,000." Which like $100,000 might like it could be tough, but you only have to bet it once and then you could withdraw it. Like so as long as you don't screw up all your bets, like you get it back and you get $250 for free. So like that's something you do. Like DraftKings will have like $125 if you deposit $500, etc. ESPN bet recently did $20 if you deposit $100. So they'll have like various sportsbooks have that, and I'll look out for it every time I see something like that. I'll just deposit it and just like bet it. I'm not going to lose every bet, so I'll withdraw it at the end. And hey, I might be up sometimes because if I win most of my bets, then I'll be up. So I feel like it's at least been break even for me, and then you get these bonus bets, which I just get putting on these exactas. So that's what I've been doing these past 2 months. And yeah, I'm almost there. So, and actually I might do 200 on each Eagles bet because those odds are not as good. Like the Eagles over anyone is like 30 to 1 instead of like 80 to 1. So, for it to be worth it, like it might be $200. So, but I think by in the next 3 more months to do this, I feel like I should be able to get there, but in 3 months. So,
I say the Superchargers and the Commanders.
I would not do that. I do like the Redskins. I just don't know about the Chargers. Their defense is awful. Like I have done my season previews on them, and I think I have them either 9-8 or 10-7. They have such a horrible defense that I don't know how they're going to get it. But like if you do Commanders to beat, can't believe I said Commanders. Chargers, that's 200 to 1. Ooh. And Chargers to beat Redskins is 250 to 1.
I'm gonna put $1 on each.
$1 on each, nice. Do it,
dude. I think it could happen.
Well, do it.
No, that's not actual advice. Yeah,
do it when you get a bonus bet. Like do it for free. That's you can do $1 on each or something.
The Packers to beat the Broncos. Look at that, 250 to 1.
It looks juicy. Actually, no, not really, but the Packers are not one of my teams. I don't know. I just don't trust Jordan Love.
I ain't trying to hear that. I'm a Packers fan.
I know. Hear that. do you trust Jordan Love?
Yeah,
you do. Actually, you do.
Yeah, I think I do. This is going to be just. See, I think last year, especially down the stretch, the Packers lost their last 3 or 4 games. But he had gotten injured a couple times, including that first game. Let's give him a year if he can really stay healthy the whole time. I don't know. I really like the addition of Golden. I know I don't, if I remember correctly, I don't think you're as high on it, but I'm excited, man. I think Josh Jacobs, he had a huge impact already. I think in his first season.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be better than last year, or about at least the same.
Yeah, I would put the Vikings over them though, and of course the Lions are still there, although they lost their coordinators, so that's an issue. Sue says Quacky Takes to beat is 40 to 1 Bills.
To beat,
I think to win MVP. Oh no, Penix is what? Penix is he's longer shots than that. I'm not sure what this. Slew, I don't know what you're really saying here, but
maybe he got auto-corrected. Man, autocorrect does you dirty sometimes.
oh yeah, it really does. No, but I mean, you have some good hedging opportunities with the Bills 40-1. I like that quite a bit that you have that. So maybe you can get other bets where you have multiple teams at like 40-1, and then you're like Andy, where like I talked to him. Falcons win Super Bowl.
Oh, wait,
So
it's only 40-1 to beat the Bills?
that can't be. Let's see. Falcons to beat Buff is 350-1.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean you can take that too. So anyway, yeah, like I said before, I had Andy on before the Super Bowl. I'm like, so who do you have? And he's like, I have both sides. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I have 90-1 on Chiefs to beat the Eagles and 100-1 on the Eagles to beat the Chiefs. I'm like, how'd you do that? please teach me. I want to do it.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah. No, your Bills bet is 40-1. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. With
$5 to win. $5 to win 200.
Is that on Hard Rock?
Yes.
Okay. That's cool. I like that's pretty neat. And really, it's like you're exchanging the $5 that you would have made. Well, I don't know how much you would have made, but with the $5 parlay with those two, I don't know what the big was on those two, but you're basically spending $13 or so to have a 40-1 on to win 200. So yeah, I mean it's pretty cool. Has anything like stood out to you, without just regular bets?
Nothing really that you haven't already mentioned. I mean, I kind of want to. I'd like to find one that's a little more obscure. The teams that are usually there, and I mean, it makes sense. Eagles, Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, getting teams, even the Lions or the Washington football team in there, and the Rams. But I don't know. I'd like to. Maybe next show I'll come prepared with like an exacta that's a little more of a long shot. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really like any of these long shots. Like nothing really stands out to me. Is like hey, this team's just so misvalued. Like a few years ago when the Lions are 100-1. Like, granted, they didn't win, but we're like that is a complete misprice. They should be like 30-1. So we have good value there. Like, really, nothing stands out to me. You can maybe argue Atlanta 80-1, maybe Jaguars 80-1. I think the Jaguars have a good chance to win the division, and so if you have a divisional winner in the playoffs at 80-1, it's a great hedging opportunity. But what you got?
How about the 49ers?
49ers are where are they? 20-1. They have like no defensive line. That's an issue. They have the easiest schedule I've ever seen. I've been covering the NFL since '99. Like I've never seen an easier schedule than they have. Like they're except for the Rams games in the division, their toughest game this year is at Houston. Like that's like very winnable. And so like this team is going to make the playoffs just based on the easy schedule. But at the same time, like I feel like once they get to the playoffs, like if they can't figure out their defensive line, they're just going to get run over. I don't see them as having like a top 4 team in the conference. Whereas like the Rams, I find it bizarre that the Rams have longer odds than the Niners. Like they're 22-1. The Rams, I think, are much better than the Niners. Like I haven't finalized my Super Bowl prediction yet, which last year was Eagles. I might do Rams. I might do Rams this year. I'm really thinking about it. I think it's going to come down to Rams, Eagles, or Vikings or Redskins for me. And I know some people listening will not like Redskins there. And I do think that like I wish they had a better pass rush. That's what's really bothering me about them is like of the 3 teams I mentioned, they definitely have the worst pass rush of the 3. My concern with the Eagles is like, will they be focused? Well, they also lost their offensive coordinator. Like, will they be focused coming off the Super Bowl win? Is there going to be like any hangover? Like what if like now they're going to be the hunted, not the hunter? That like those 3 things bother me, but like they're so talented that they could maybe overcome it. But I just don't know if the hunger is going to be there. Like they won in 2017, but like this is a whole new group that like there are a couple of like leftovers from the team, like Lane Johnson, for example, who have been there. But for the most part, this is a brand new team that won the Super Bowl. So I just don't know if they're going to be hungry enough to win it again. So I'm hating that because like I rank the Eagles as the best team in the NFL. They're number one in my power rankings. But like, will they be able to stay focused enough to win again? Like that's my question. I don't know what you think of that. Like, if you were in my shoes and you thought the Eagles were the best team, and you had to make a Super Bowl prediction, like, would you go with them or would you go with someone else?
I would probably take Buffalo. I mean, I like them the most. I just, it's just so hard to repeat. I know the Chiefs just did it and almost had a three-peat, but I've never been a fan of betting the repeat champion personally, because it's so rare that it actually happens. So just because of that, I don't like it, but at the same time, I still think it's great value. So yeah, I mean, I take it. I mean, I'm not going to put a ton on it just because, how often has there been a repeat champion? Very rarely.
Except for the Chiefs. The last one was the 03-04 Patriots. So it's been a while, but I mean, this team's loaded. They did lose some depth on the defensive line, and I like that's a concern for me. But they did sign some guys, so if they pan out, then they'll be fine there. But they did lose Milton Williams and Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham. So like they're going to be a little thinner up front, but they'll still be good. I know, just they'll be great actually up front. But if there are injuries suddenly, then like it gets a little sketchy. So again, there's like a couple of little things I'm like worried about the Eagles. Whereas like the Rams, except for their I don't really like their cornerbacks all that much. They're not awful, but I feel like they could be better. Same with their linebackers. Outside of that, I think the team's loaded. I think they're so good. They're so well coached. Stafford is still great. Nakua is awesome. They signed Devontae Adams. Offensive line's really good. Their pass rush last year was amazing late in the year. They gave the Eagles a lot of problems with their pass rush. Like Jared Verse was getting to Stafford or getting to Jalen Hurts a lot in that game. And he was only a rookie. Like now he's going to be better. Like there's so many young players on that defense. They're just going to get a lot better. And like I said before, like I love Sean McVay. I think he's just an amazing coach. And if he has a great team, like he's going to be able to elevate them. Like just look what he did against the Eagles in the divisional round. He almost beat them. And like the Eagles, that Eagles team last year is going to be a little bit. It was better than this Eagles team, and that Rams team was a little bit worse than this Rams team. So you had like this game, which was close. Like these teams are going to get closer together. So that's why I'm considering the Rams to make it to the Super Bowl. And if they do, I think they'll win the Super Bowl because the NFC is a lot better than the AFC. Which again, I'm also wondering like who's going to make the Super Bowl in the AFC, whether it's Bills or Ravens. That is a close one too. I think I have them meeting in the AFC Championship, and I can't really decide the winner right now. So I'm kind of like I have to decide soon. I'm kind of like delaying my season preview release so I have more time to think about it. But
I can't believe the Bears are 35-1 and the Texans are 40-1.
Well, I mean, what do you think they should be?
I would have thought the Bears would have been more like 50-1.
Okay. There's a lot of hype with the Bears. People love the Bears. They got Ben Johnson. They made offensive line moves. They drafted tight end in the first round. Yeah, I mean, people are hyped up on the Bears. It feels like the same thing happened last year too. We should have had an easy win week 1 with the Titans. Titans +4 against the Bears, and we know what happened after that. That was awful. But and what do you think the Texans should be?
Not longer odds than the Bears. I don't know. I guess I thought they would be more like 30-1, like where the Vikings are.
Okay, well, I mean, they were the opposite of the Bears. They lost offensive lineman. They lost Laremy Tunsil. CJ Stroud has shoulder soreness. I don't know how serious that is. It doesn't sound serious on the surface, of just soreness, But like, first of all, whenever you hear a shoulder anything with a quarterback, you have to be cautious. And then also, I'm just reminded of Christian McCaffrey last year. I was like, oh, it's just a calf. don't worry about it. Just a calf injury, and like he played 4 games.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I have like I'm kind of like PTSD from that. So I don't know. Um, I don't know. It's tough. I just don't know what to make of it, and it could be nothing. Like if he's practicing fully a month from now, then we'll forget about it. But this is like something that could linger. Like I would not bet the Texans do anything until there's a resolution there. You know,
Understood.
that's kind of like why I'm thinking Jaguars, because if something's wrong with Stroud, like the Jaguars are going to be better this year. They have a new coach. They have Travis Hunter, who can hypothetically enhance the offense and the defense. And then I think their offensive line's okay. Their defense should be better this year. Um, they're an okay team. They're fine. And like Trevor Lawrence hasn't been healthy in 2 years. It seems like he's finally over his injuries. I think they're a good bet to win the division. I think they're plus 310. I think to win the division. I think they're a good bet to do that, especially if Stroud is banged up. So I think it's going to be super close to those teams. I have them like 1 win apart. So it's really almost a coin flip that you're getting plus 310 odds.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I actually I did a short video of like I called it 3 new divisional winners that are all underdogs. So it was Jaguars plus 310. I think it was like Falcons plus 230, and what's the other one? The NFC South. Sorry, NFC South. AFC, the NFC North. I had the Vikings are like I'm gonna say plus 380 or something, or plus 360. There's the Vikings, Jaguars, and Falcons were my 3 picks to be new teams to win the division, who are all underdogs right now. So I feel like one of them's gonna hit, maybe 2. I think 2 of them have a decent chance of hitting.
I'll be rooting for you.
Yeah, Stafford has to stay healthy, and that's a big if. Oh yeah, 100% for sure. And look, he has the offensive line to keep him healthy. Like last year, they had so many injuries. They had injuries on the offensive line. They missed Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua for weeks on end, and like it was just Stafford with a bare bones team, and they ended up winning the division. Like even though like they looked like a horrible team in the first half of the season because everyone was out. So if they have better injury luck, which you never know, but still, if they have better injury luck, like they're going to look great this year. I think they could get the 1 seed, and that means they don't have to go to snowy Philadelphia to play a game. So like it's if they get the 1 seed, I think they're gonna be very tough to beat in that dome with all the weapons. Especially if Devontae Adams can still play at a high level too. I mean, he's 33. That is a slight concern, but he was good last year, so I'm not too worried about it. Texans odds are 1-1. I assume to win the division. I think Jaguars go 7-10. Look, they could. New coach. You never know. Lawrence is still not 100%. Yeah, that could happen. Bill's going to struggle without James Cook. No, I don't think so. Running back is so unimportant to me. Like, look what they did with Ray Davis. Like, Ray Davis was a monster in that Jets game on Monday Night Football. He's really talented, and they could always sign a running back. Like Nick Chubb's available, J.K. Dobbins is available. Like there's a bunch of veterans they could sign who could just be solid. And like James Cook, he scored a bunch of touchdowns last year. The touchdowns are so random that I feel like there's just going to be a regression with him scoring wise this year. So if Cook is out, I'm not going to downgrade the Bills at all. Like running back just to me is super replaceable. And I don't know. Do you have anything else in the NFL? Because we have one last topic we want to get to before we head out.
No, I'm good. We can go ahead and hit it.
All right, live hedging Ryan Fox tomorrow. This is a very special pick for me because, as I wrote on the site, which 100% true. I don't know why I had this dream. I had a dream that I won a wager betting Ryan Fox to win the Canadian Open. I don't know why I'm dreaming about Ryan Fox winning golf tournaments, but I already liked him because he's 14th in the model, and yet he's 70-1 on FanDuel. So I bet this guy 70-1 to win the Canadian Open, and we can look at the standings right now. This is old data. Hold on. Ryan Fox currently in the lead.
Holy cow!
With he's tied with Matteo Manassero. Italian guy. In fact, they're 4 out of the top 6 guys are or international. This is in Canada, obviously in Toronto. So Ryan Fox, the data golf is giving him an 18.1% chance of winning. This is very clogged at the top. This is going to be so difficult to hedge right now because you have Ryan Fox and Manasaro 14 under. You have Kevin Yu, Matt McCarty, Lee Hodges at 13 under. And then you have Mackenzie Hughes, Jake Knapp. By the way, we bet Jake Knapp. We're not only hedging Ryan Fox, we're also hedging Jake Knapp. We have Jake Knapp at I just closed it. So I think we have him at 90-1, I believe.
Wow.
Let me make sure. Jake Knapp, 96-1. We have Jake Knapp at 96-1. Actually, even bigger payout than Ryan Fox because I bet the same amount on them. So Jake Knapp and Andrew Putnam at 12 under. And we also have another guy in contention, not at 11 under though. Cam Young, Benny Hanna, Rico Huey, Victor Perez, David Shirts and Skins, Cam Champ, Cristobal del Solar. They're all 11 under. And then you have a bunch of guys at 10 under, and one of them we have as well. Shane Lowry, Sam Burns, Alex Smalley, here our guy Taylor Pendrith. We have him at 10 under. Not great odds. We have him at 28-1. So, I mean, 28-1. I'll take that win, you know. So we have him as well. Then we have Nikki Taylor, Kevin Roy, Adam Hadwin, Antoine Rosner, and Danny Willett. I'm almost bet Rosner as well. And then I think we have a guy at 7 under too, but he's obviously not going to be in contention. So bless you. So we have a bunch of guys in contention that we can hedge. We have 3 guys who can realistically win it. Pendrith is 1.4% to win. Jake Knapp is 4.4% to win, and Ryan Fox is 18.1% to win. That is about almost 25. We're almost like 25% to win this tournament, which is a great payouts too. Like I hope this comes through, and we have the favorite right now. But like the problem is like who do you hedge with? Like there's just so many guys who can win it that like you can maybe like hopefully weed out some guys. Mattia Manasaro, if you look at this this shape here, he has no driving distance, which makes me so shocked that he's up here because the Canadian Open is one of the longest courses on tour. So I really value driving distance. So Manasaro is not someone I had on my radar. So if I'm looking at him, like I'm not like it sucks that he's tied with our guy, but I don't really see him winning this tournament. I mean, I guess like it is possible, but like he just doesn't have the driving distance. So like he's not going to be able to cut the corners that that Ryan Fox can. You know, he's like, and there's the par 5, like there's like 600-yard par 5s. Like he's not going to be able to get birdies consistently there. So it's kind of like I'm kind of shocked that he's 14 under, but. You look at some of the other guys. Kevin Yu's another power hitter. He can win it. He's pretty good. His putting sucks, but these greens are so easy that I don't think it matters all that much. Matt McCarty, who won earlier, he doesn't have much driving distance either. So he's accurate and stuff, and he's a good putter, but he hasn't finished. I thought he won earlier this year. Maybe I'm mistaken. He won late in October. Okay. This calendar year, he hasn't finished above 14th. But that was at the Masters though. So, you know, he doesn't have the driving distance either. So like, I wouldn't like hedge with him. Lee Hodges won a tournament, recently. He's a solid golfer. But like, look at this year, 53rd cut. Like he just wasn't my radar either. Mackenzie Hughes, who's Canadian. So that gives him a slight edge. He finished 2nd at the Myrtle Beach, 3rd at the RBC Heritage. He's okay at driving distance. He's just fine. So Hughes can win it. And like of the guys we discussed so far, I think either Kevin Yu or Mackenzie Hughes make the most sense. We have Jake Knapp. We don't have to talk about him. Andrew Putnam to round out the 12 unders. He's another guy who can't drive at all. Like he is one of the worst driving distance golfers in on tour. And yet somehow he's tied. You know, he's only 2 strokes back. It doesn't really make any sense to me that he's doing this well. So I would not expect him to make a run. There's Cam Young, who used to be one of the best golfers or one of the best up-and-coming golfers on tour. I believe in like, if you go back to like 2022, look at this. He had like third, second. Like this guy was super hot back then. 2021, he won. Oh, he was on Corn Ferry back then. But like he just never took the next step, and he's gotten worse every single year for some reason. I don't know why. His best finish this year was 7th at the Truist. but he has the talent. Look at this driving distance. He can drive the ball super far. So Cam Young is the guy who could certainly win it, and maybe kind of get back to his glory days. Benny Hanna can also drive the ball really far. He does nothing else well, but he can he can blast the ball pretty well. So he can win at this golf course. Again, like bad putter, but on this course, I don't think it matters all that much. Rico Huey is he can drive the ball somewhat decently. Awful putter. So even though the greens are easy, like this awful putting might cost him. Victor Perez, he's just kind of like a sort of well-rounded golfer. He can win it. So you keep going, like Shirts and Skins here is pretty limited in what he can do. He's 43 years old. Like he's almost as old. I feel weird saying that like he's super old, but like he's only a few months older than me. But like I don't know. I can't last 4 days in the hot sun. I don't know if he can. Cam Champ is like he's like look at the shape. Like, he does nothing well but blast the ball. Like this is when you want to bet Cam Champ. Like super long golf courses, they're easy otherwise. Like this is all you can do is just blast the ball. So if you're playing PGA Showdown on DraftKings, I assume he's cheap because he sucks. You might want to include him in your lineup because he's gonna be like salary saver. Del Solar, he's just not a real golfer. Look at this tiny Pentagon. He's only had his best finish was 12th. Otherwise, look at this cut, 31st cut, 12th cut. Like like what is he doing up here? Like just pretending to be a good golfer. And then the best golfers are actually 10 under. Like Pendrith, who we have, he's a beast. Great approach, great driving distance. He was my number one bet this week. So I liked him a lot. The other two best golfers on here is Shane Lowry. He's well-rounded too. He's not a great driver of the ball, but he does everything else very well. And then there's Sam Burns, who is we bet him a few times this year. Hasn't come through, but he could make a run here. Drives the ball really well. Great putter. Not that it matters. Again, doesn't matter all that much in this course, but still, it can't hurt. His only weakness is driving accuracy, but the fairways on this course are so wide, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, those are like guys I'm looking at. There's also like Oberg kind of like lingering here. He's one of the most talented golfers in the world. He hasn't he's only 25, so doesn't have that much winning experience, but like just based on pure talent, like he's up there, and he can drive the ball extremely well. Like if you're looking for a long shot, like make a run, maybe Oberg. He's only 1.1% to win, but you're gonna get like some good odds on him. I don't know if we're gonna bet it, but yeah, this is something I'm gonna have to do live because like there's just so many options of like who can win. If it's not gonna be Fox or Pendrith, I would guess like, man, it feels weird to call Cam Young, but I feel like if Shane Lowry, Burns, or Oberg can make a run, like I think they could maybe overtake those guys. If it's someone at the top, I think it's going to be either Kevin Yu or Mackenzie Hughes, maybe Cam Young. So and maybe even Benny Hanna. I think those are the four I'd be looking at. So it's really crowded at the top. But hopefully, just Ryan Fox runs away with it and we don't have to worry about it. I'd love to like what if it's like Fox, Pendrith, and Knapp just like going at it at the end? I'd be like, this is great. No sweat, no nothing. I can just have fun, win something big, hopefully. So, yeah, that's my analysis of this of the field tomorrow. Real fast, I wanted to look at the odds, see if anything stands out. Then we can head out here. So Ryan Fox is the favorite, plus 330. Manasaro plus 600. Kevin Yu 7-1. McCarty 8-1. Lee Hodges 850. Mackenzie Hughes at 12-1 looks interesting, especially if you can get a profit boost or something. I know BetMGM has one right now. Putting him 20-1, Cam Young 28-1. That's kind of interesting. Benny Hanna 30-1. That seems pretty good. And then you have the most talented guys: Sam Burns 40-1, Shane Lowry 45-1, and I assume Oberg. Yeah, Oberg's 80-1. You want to take a long shot? Oberg 80-1. If he can make a run, like that's, I don't think it's impossible. Data Golf gives a 1.1% chance to win. So I don't think that's insane. So right now, if he birdies his first two holes, like you're not getting 80-1 anymore. So yeah, if you want to take a shot there, I think that might be worth it. But I don't think I'm going to bet anything beforehand. Just going to wait till it goes live and hopefully we don't have to hedge anything. I'd love to not hedge anything. So that is this Canadian Open. Next week we have our third major, U.S. Open. I think on top of my head, I think probably Bryson DeChambeau might be my pick, but we'll have to study the course. Usually, U.S. Opens are very long, and Bryson DeChambeau is the best driver of the ball on tour. So that's why he won the U.S. Open last year. I feel like it's. I mean, obviously Scheffler is going to be the favorite, but I think he should be the number two, not Rory McIlroy. Who, by the way, Rory, he was the favorite at this course at this Canadian Open. He was plus 450. Rory was plus 9. He did not make the cut. What happened here? Rory McIlroy did not make the cut at the Canadian Open, plus 9. So I don't know what happened with Rory. I didn't bet him. I was like, I felt like he was just going to use the Canadian Open to get ready for the major. But like his last outing too, PGA Championship, he was so disappointing. He got 47th. So I don't know what happened to him. Like it just something is falling apart with his game. Because he was on fire to start the year, as you can see. He won 3 times. He won the Players. He won the Masters. Ever since then, he's kind of been in a tailspin. And so I couldn't bet Rory right now at all until I see like some recovery from him. Like plus 9 is embarrassing, and of course he should dominate. Like the Canadian Open's like look at his driving distance. Like he should have dominated this course. His approach is great, putting good, great putter. Like there's nothing wrong with his game, and yet he was awful at this easy course. So I don't know what's going on with Rory. So for me, the U.S. Open is going to come down to Scheffler and DeChambeau. And what we did at the last 2 majors was bet the 2 favorites and take a couple long shots. That's what we're going to do for the U.S. Open. I think they're going to take Scheffler and DeChambeau. I think don't hold me to that. I might do something differently, but right now, if I had to guess, I would take those 2, take a couple long shots, and then bet a couple other things. But that's what we're looking right now with golf. So hopefully, if you guys have bet this, good luck to you all tomorrow. Hopefully, we have a huge win. That would be awesome. Kevin says Rory's driver tested illegal at the PGA and he had to replace it. Okay. Wow, I did not hear that. Wow. Okay, thank you for the insight. I did not know that. I'm gonna look that up. Yeah, that's really interesting. I hadn't heard that. Rory driver banned. Yeah, I'm looking up Rory's driver was deemed non-conforming by the USGA before the PGA Championship. Interesting. Yeah, that's like PGA Championship is right when his game is falling apart. Wow, that's crazy. So yeah, thanks, Kevin. That's great insight. I had not seen that. So yeah, great call. That's awesome. I wish I had bet him to miss the cut at the Canadian Open. We would have gotten like 6-1 odds, or actually probably long on that. So yeah, that's maybe we'll bet him to miss the cut at the U.S. Open. That'd be cool. And by the way, Brooks Koepka to miss the cut as well. We're gonna bet that. We bet Brooks Koepka to miss the cut at the PGA Championship. There's something going on with his wife. I've heard some people who are familiar with the situation. Like there's something really going on wrong there. So that's why we bet against him at the PGA Championship. We're gonna do that again at the U.S. Open. So. And yeah, we're gonna have a Tuesday show with the U.S. Open. Our golf guys will be on, I assume. I haven't talked to the Nuggets, but Butter said he'd be on at least, so that'll be fun. So, all right, anything else before we head out?
That's all I got.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching and commenting. Really appreciate it. We'll be back on Tuesday. In the meantime, I urge you to check out Quacky's Twitch chat or Twitch channel. To watch some video games and have some great conversations. So, Quacky, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, I'll be tweeting out some baseball picks and everything too. Twitch, I'll maybe get on there at some point. Again, okay. I've been busy. But yeah, I'll keep tweeting out the picks. But thanks everyone for watching. I appreciate it. Great time as always, Walt.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll be back next week with a full slate of episodes. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Good luck with the golf tomorrow, and I will talk to you Tuesday.
See y'all.